And things are quiet when it comes to the Titans, with us being a little over 24 hours away from the NFL draft. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Hunk, but it's a little different at Bridgestone because UC Saros will not be playing in the Preds' final 2 regular season games because of a lower back injury. That was just announced a little over an hour ago. So what are the Preds going to be doing? They have called up goaltender Connor Ingram from Milwaukee. Right now in the AHL, he currently leads all goalies in games played, minutes played, saves, and is tied for first in shutouts with 5. Now, when it comes to the Preds, they're also currently tied with the Stars for the top 2 wild card spots. And at the moment, they both have 95 points. That could potentially change tonight because the Dallas Stars will be hosting the Phoenix Coyotes. And if these 2 teams were to tie at the end of the regular season, which is in the next 2 games, Preds do hold the tiebreaker, and they would be the top wild card seed. And the Vols player Josiah Jordan James has entered the NBA draft, but he is not going to be signing an agent, which means he could potentially return to the basketball team next season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to go visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Yo, what up, Nashville 3HL, 104.5 The Zone. It is NFL Draft Eve, at least the first round of the NFL Draft. Beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you're doing well, Brent
You
Doherty.
know I'm right.
You are.
Dawn Davenport.
Hi.
She's got her sleeveless vest on.
Yes. I wore it for you.
Oh, she started to do the wobble a little bit there.
There's the wobble on you.
I got addicted to
And pumped.
something that Mandy Moore put on Instagram. It's the cast of This Is Us, which I don't watch that show anymore because it depresses the hell out of me every time. This is gone. Like, I haven't watched it in a few years.
I never
So
watched
maybe they're all happy and good things happen every episode now. But
Isn't it over?
I think this is the final season.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, well, they were doing a wedding episode, so Mandy Moore and the cast and everything, they were like, don't give us too much time between takes, so they did the wobble a bunch. But she put it on.
now.
Yeah, she put it out there, and I can't stop watching. It's weird what you get addicted to on the internet.
Oh, it's like, remember, who did I get addicted
it
to?
is weird.
Roger Saffold YouTube clips. Wasn't that it?
Oh,
do you
when-
remember that
when they signed Roger
they first
Saffold?
signed him? Yep.
What was he doing?
Playing football,
Like
dominating
flattening
people.
the
just
hell
watching-
out of
oh.
people.
Like, literally, they signed him, and then all night, that night, she watched Roger Saffold. We never even told him that. We should have told him that.
How did we never? I forgot
Come on,
about
Babs.
it.
You got to be on your
I don't know.
game.
I did it like all night until like 2:00 one morning. I like texted Brent and said, I'm still watching Roger Saffold.
Yeah,
clips."
he would have liked to have known that. Now he's in Buffalo.
Why wouldn't
where-
you?
I mean,
Now you'll never get to tell him, Babsy.
Yeah, we'll never
Nah,
hear
he'll
from
be
him
back.
again. But, yeah, so, I mean, Logan Woodside knows how much you appreciate him.
No, I told him. We're going to get him on. We got to make sure we get Vrabel's approval there.
Cross T's, dot I's.
I was so pumped up about the Grizzlies come back win and start texting y'all about it. And then Slay's like, that was the worst basketball game I've ever seen.
That's horrific.
I mean, Slay was hardcore. No,
Hardcore.
I mean, literally said that was the worst playoff game in the history
Well,
of basketball.
Well, I think he said 15 years.
yeah, let's say 15 because I didn't want nobody to go back and look and find one in the 20th year.
Yeah.
You know?
you
when
felt
did-
very good about
I
saying
did 15. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm spot on with
There
that.
might have
Yeah.
been a game when D. Brown pumped up his
Yeah.
shoes.
Right.
See, I don't know if anybody in that game was over 27 years old, so I really feel good about it, you know? So, yeah. I just felt a certain way, man. It was just too sloppy, too it had a okay, now let me tell you. First of all, so nobody's saying I'm hating.
Well, you watched the game differently than, like, we watched the game.
Right.
Like, I watched it completely from a Grizz fan standpoint. Like, complete the comeback. I don't care how you do it.
Right.
You win the game. I don't care how you do it.
Right.
And boom, they win, and you're euphoric because you don't want to go to Minnesota down 32.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You can't go there 3-2. Not like that. But
you
dudes,
watch it from a different perspective.
Yeah, and it was exciting. Like, as a fan of the game, like, I'm watching it like, man, good energy. It wasn't like people were moping around or dragging. But, man, when you look at it, man, when you run sets, like the playoff basketball, this is the type of game I wanted to see in the regular season.
This is a regular season type
You know what
game.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's
so
up and down the floor.
when you said that, that's what I thought
Yeah.
immediately was like, this looked like a regular season
Yep.
game. You're right.
But why?
Because, one, the game slows down in the playoffs. The
Okay.
game is never up and down, up and down, up and down.
Because they actually play more defense?
Yeah, they actually play more defense, and they
you
key
run
in
more
on the
sets.
guys, and you run in sets. You know,
Okay.
so what in regular season, what they would do is we'll find a matchup. Babs, you got the hot hand. We're gonna keep giving you the ball over and over. Go to work, Babs. You'll have 70. It's cool. Everybody's fine with it. In the playoffs, Babs get 5. We finna adjust everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, you got to start running sets. Now, what you'll do in the playoffs, you'll run a set over and over and over and over because you keep getting the look you want. Whether that's going to Babs right there down low and Mayer's out there on the wing, they know they're going to double you, so we're going to make them double every time. Kick it to you, Mayer, you got to make the shot. That's what we're going to live by
I'm
on
going to make the
defense.
shot, and I will be in the wing.
See,
I ain't going anywhere.
See what I'm saying.
I know
His
why.
foot will be on the
Yeah,
line.
that's the
but,
thing.
you
And
know.
then defensively, like, exactly.
That's an old show joke.
It was too much stuff lost. You know what I mean? Ja didn't play good defense early in the first 3 quarters till they woke him up. Minnesota, exact same thing. And you attribute that to coaching and the youth of it, you know, the experience. It's just 2 young teams outside of a guy like Patrick Beverly or something. But you did get to see, which I was loving, at the end of the game when Minnesota had to draw up a play, an out-of-bounds play, and people keep saying, man, how did Ant-Man get that shot over there in the corner wide open? That was a beautifully drawn-up play. Like, on my chat, and my partners
and executed very
executed
well,
great. Because, man, that was
the
it.
broadcast team did a great job explaining, like Brevin Knight, I guess. He said,
Yep.
look at this false step into the lane. That's what kept him there.
That's the guard. That's
Yeah.
the basketball guard explaining it. And then
Yeah.
anybody else sees the guy come off open. And he's like, man, why the little guy not going to shoot the ball? Because he's running the play. And he did a direct bounce pass, a
Little
two-hand
guy.
bounce pass to the corner with a great screen. So that was beautiful. And then you come back on the other end, and this shows the inexperience of the game, in its entirety. Anthony, what's Ant-Man's last name?
Edward.
Towns.
Anthony Edwards.
that one.
Anthony Edwards, he does.
Because it's the star from ER.
Yeah.
That's how I knew that.
he
Thought
breaks.
he's on that cat.
Yeah, no, definitely not him. But he's a problem too. But Anthony Edwards got the shot, and it shows you how you can make them pay attention to detail, then get on the opposite end, and that quick, being that young, you can lose the discipline and the focus, what you have to do. Everybody knows on the down screen, you either lock and trail or you can shoot the gap. He did neither. He followed Ja Morant after the down screen in the paint, followed him around and tried to steal the ball from behind, giving a direct line to a drive to create a 2-on-1. If anything, you make them catch the ball in front, take a couple dribbles, throw up a wild shot, and you live with the results. Don't give him a 2-on-1 layup. This guy, out of all people, you don't want him jumping in there to make no decisions.
I mean, we were
So
talking
that's
about
just inexperience.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
We were
And that's
talking
not
about
being
it
able to
before the
laser
play.
focus in.
And I'm watching a game with my 11-year-old and my 15-year-old, and like you had time to kind of talk through it, and we all were like, I mean, you get Morant into the lane where he can dish it or go to the rim.
It's over. Look at his last bucket.
And we
outside
knew
the,
that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trailing him.
Why?
Are you kidding me?
Outside of the tip out 3 that Ja Morant hit, everything other bucket was in the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing? Get this man out the lane. And my MVP, a person that played the game right, Brandon Clark. Lord,
BC, baby.
have mercy.
That's a dog right there.
On both ends. Lord,
Can't
hey,
shoot
man.
a free throw to save his life, but
See, and that's the thing. Kids, watch that. Like, that man know he wasn't getting no offensive sets ran from him. It was going to be for Bane or Morant or maybe Dylan Brooks when he just took the ball and did something wild. But Brandon Clark, man.
which was awful.
often. He was getting tip out rebounds. He kept so many balls alive, man, getting offensive rebounds. I forgot my watch today.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll dig further into the Grizz win. That was a huge win for
like
them.
I'm
John
naked.
Morant with 18, which matched a career high in the fourth quarter, as he almost messed around and got a triple-double again.
Almost.
Preds clinch with a shootout loss and overtime loss and a shootout loss from Vegas. And so they get in. Now everybody's watching UC Soros. They call up a goaltender from
Juice
from Milwaukee. Juice will miss the last 2 games of the regular season, and then my guess is he'll be ready to go game 1. But
I hope so.
He's got to.
I'm nervous.
I'm telling you. All right, and the big news that just came down right before we began the show, the Titans announced that they have picked up, no surprise here, but they have done it, picked up Jeffrey Simmons' 5th-year option. So his salary in 2023 will be $10.7 million. I mean, think about the destruction level of that dude, and you've got him for 10.7.
Loving it.
Because in 2024, all things being equal, and God willing, no injury, Big Jeff gonna get freaking paid.
And quickly, too.
I mean.
It'll be quickly.
Hopefully he can manage on the 10.7.
Man, can I just tell John Robinson, hey, listen, start passing around the collection plate right now in the community of Nashville and all of Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm going to put something in it.
Can we charge the Woo Girls again?
Man, come on, man.
Oh, my God.
Don't you let that man go nowhere. Man, forget that.
Woo Girls are about to finance everything in Nashville.
I mean, just throw 1% on the Woo Girls like every time you need something.
Let's roll.
Don't price the Woo Girls out now.
We
need a stadium? Woo Girls.
We'll need to run away.
Need Jeffrey's contract?
Woo
Girls.
Girls. Yeah.
Girl.
Need to fix schools? Woo Girls. I mean, anything you need, just go ahead and charge them.
Potholes on
Woo
65.
I just saw 3 back-to-back party bus things.
Yeah.
Various kinds. 4, actually. Various kinds of them while I was coming up toward here.
And there's a certain mile per hour they can go, huh?
Yeah, and if you honk, they have to scream. And
Yeah,
stuff.
hello. Oh, boy. I'll pull up right beside you, boy. If you're a woo girl out there, that's me. In the silver truck, just keep on honking over and over and over. They probably tired of wooing. I'm going to test your stamina as a woo girl. You a real woo girl? You ought to be able to go 6 woos in a row. Can't do it? Get up off of there. We got to go.
We got another Woo Girl.
Yeah,
We're ready to
we
go.
got somebody ready. Come on.
She's standing right
Next
there.
Woo girl, you got your white boots? Let's roll. Let's get it.
Coach Frank coming up next. 3 and John 104.5 The Zone.
All right, let's talk about FanDuel Sportsbook and what's going on right now. Oh, the NBA playoffs. You just heard my guy Slay break it down. Playoffs are here. Make every game feel like a game 7 on FanDuel Sportsbook. They are an official partner of the NBA, and throughout the playoffs, all of y'all, all customers, place a no-sweat same-game parlay each and every week, and you get up to $20, $20 in free bets if you do not win. FanDuel has a ton of ways to play, and best of all, when you do win, you're going to get paid so quick. And it's simple, too, by the way. If you are new to FanDuel, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up with promo code DAWN, D-A-W-N. And if you already have an account, you're all set to bet. No sweat there. Again, that is promo code DAWN. Either way, you're going to get up to $20 in free bets if your same game parlay during the playoffs doesn't win. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official partner of the NBA. If you don't know what to build for your same game parlay, they have other people's same game parlay bets, and you can just choose one of those as well. You do have to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets. Expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $20 per week. Restrictions apply. Full term sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
What's happening, people? Ron Slay here. Music City Autoplex. That's the lot, the dealership, the car place you're supposed to go to. 2430 Gallatin Pike North, located right out there in Rivergate. It's like on the border of Hendersonville. But listen, going out there, that's what's the important thing. When you get out there, you'll see a car you like. Guess what? You're not walking away empty-handed or on foot. How about that? Go right off in there. MusicCityAutoplex.com is what you can hit on your handheld device or your laptop. So listen, they're expanding. That's right. Not only expanding the inventory, but also expanding the showroom and the service facility. So what does that mean for you? More inventory choices at market low prices, more access to great financing options, and an expanded customer service experience. Music City Autoplex already has more pre-owned inventory than any independent dealer in Middle Tennessee, and now they're increasing it. All of this is to benefit you, the customer. So go in there and get this experience just like I did, just like a lot of other customers did. And guess what? If you want to get a car, you got the place to go. Music City Autoplex is for you. Go get a car.
Three, John 1045 The Zone. Babs talking crazy up in here.
Hey! Oh! That'd be a, hey, man. Man, Babs gonna get Mom of the Year. I'm telling you that right now, but go ahead, man.
What was the player that we wanted to bubble wrap? Remember that? We just wanted to put bubble wrap on the player so he wouldn't get hurt. I forget who that was, but
Oh, yeah.
she wanted to put an electric fence on Hadley.
With like a collar?
Like,
Well, I just asked to keep her away from the pool to, like, protect her from the pool.
just put an electric fence on her. She gets buzzed every time she goes. It's like a collar for a dog.
The dogs have one.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt the dog. It just gives it a little pinch. It's no big
Right,
deal.
it's just-
See?
This is where we are, Coach Mack. Welcome in.
Hi, Coach Mac.
Don't put a collar, please. Don't do that. I've
Put a
had
collar
collars
on
my
that,
dogs. I've also had my cattle hit electric fence. Don't do it.
Don't do the electric fence at all. That's your advice, right, for the dogs?
No, it's fine for the dogs because you can turn it down on the dogs. You can turn it down on the dogs because they figure it out real quick. Believe me.
But like an actual baby girl might not be a good idea.
No, please not on Hadley. I don't want any electric neck braces on Hadley.
Just so everybody knows, I was kidding. Hopefully nobody out there thinks I'm serious.
Oh, man. We're very rarely serious about anything. Coach Mack, welcome in. Day before the draft. So what's going on at all these NFL facilities today, you think?
Well, they're I'll tell you what they're doing is they're checking draft day phone numbers to be sure they've got exactly the number and where you're going to be. Because, I mean, that's important, because when you get down to it and you start being on the clock, everything is done by the minute, and it starts boiling down to a second. And if you don't have somebody on the clock, you won't turn that card in, because you just can't do it. So that's something that for our listeners, a little behind the scenes, that you check and double check that. And, about 3 minutes out, if you make your pick, then you're going to say, have we got them on the phone? You double check, are they on the phone? And you got somebody standing there with them on the phone. Then you tell your people in Vegas this year, turn it in. I mean, that has to be like that.
Have you ever had a guy you couldn't find?
Man, that's what I was going to say, boy.
That you were trying to draft?
We've never had one we couldn't find. We had one we had a hard time convincing that we had drafted him with Mark Mariani.
Really?
Mariani kept cussing us on the phone. I mean, he was cussing Brandon Fisher because they played together. So we said, "Hey, you call it." Well, of course, Brandon had been calling him previously, and finally Mark Mariani said, "Look, I'm on the edge now. I'm about to go over the edge. Don't call me anymore." So he calls and tells him, "Hey, Titans going to draft you in 7th round." So he starts cussing at him. We got him on the speakerphone, and he's MFing him up and down the line. And finally, Brandon says, "Here, you know what? I'll just let you talk to the head coach." And so the Fish gets on there and goes, "Mark." And he goes, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." I think he's still traumatized over that.
We need to get Mark. We need to call Mark, get him to tell that story from his perspective. It's so funny.
So funny.
I mean,
that was a hell of a 7th round pick too, by the way.
Yeah, all pro.
Let me tell you something. I can tell you exactly how that went down because that year they were a good team. Mariani and Brandon Fish and those guys. They went to the national championship twice. And they could play. And so, Fish and I would fly to go watch them play. We went down to Chattanooga, watched them play both championship games. So we knew those guys. And every time we would watch it, we would say, this Mariani kid, I mean, if he can't do anything else in the league, he'll return kicks for us. I mean, he was fearless. And what else he was? He was an instant accelerator. This guy was a good athlete. But look, he was not scared. I mean, he would go over the middle, and they would spin it to him, and he'd bounce off of them. And, I mean, they were a high-flying offense, and he was a huge, huge part of it. And so, and Fish, we talked about it when he was getting ready to draft and said, look, people are going to say it's because he played with my son, but I'm telling you this guy can play. And, of course, some of that narrative came out. And then all Mark Mariani did was go to Pro Bowl his rookie year, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And set a record. Yeah. He returned like 35 punts that day.
I mean,
and kickoffs. I think it was more kickoffs.
It's tough.
He helped us win a lot of games. I'll never forget that game we won down there in Dallas with that kickoff return he had. That was one of the best ones ever.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you: could that be misleading a little bit? Because if you got to get all these guys' numbers, make sure somebody's there. You ever had to run into any of these guys and they'd be like, "Hey, Coach Mack, man, y'all call me and ask me, man, did I have the right number? Was I on standby?" Y'all didn't even call me. Y'all didn't even draft me. So is it for more than that? Is it for after the draft as well to try to get that call in to get them in?
Very relevant question. Yes, it's for everything. You want to be sure because one of the biggest parts of the draft, of course, the draft is exciting within itself. I mean, we just had a big draft meeting today up there in Rhett's studio with myself, Mike Keith, and Ramon and Rhett Bryant, for quite a while getting down. Mike Keith was laying out the program we're going to use. And it's no shocker that Mike Keith knows how to put together a radio program, basically a draft program. So, I mean, we're ready to go, but it's the same way with these phone numbers. Look, one of the biggest things that goes on that behind the scenes that people really don't know that I'm getting ready to tell them is, guys, one of the most stressful times is the free agency period of the draft, because that is the Wild West. In the draft, at least you can select them. And then and so it's really, really important because it's very, very competitive. it's kind of like the whole NIL deal, transfer portal thing is right now. So yes, you have to have them. And the other thing too that helps, and you can relate to this, Ron, I think everybody can. If you've talked to a team for a while, or talked to one of their scouts, or talked to one of their assistant coaches, and you're a player throughout the draft, whether they take you or not, if you're not drafted, that familiarity and just those contacts sometimes help.
Yep, very true.
So does that dictate sometimes the last pick or two, based on like how much traffic there is for that guy you think, at least that you think there will be in free agency? So you go ahead and pick him in the 7th round?
Brent, another great question. You guys are on it today, and you've been on it since the golf tournament when you got your trophy. I mean, you guys have been on it.
I mean, well, we stepped up in life right then. I mean, that was a big moment.
You guys, I mean, I was so honored to be able to hand out the awards, and I was really honored to be able to hand out y'all's trophy. And really, Ron, you made an eloquent speech. You really did.
Thank you, Coach Mack.
Your acceptance speech was really, really eloquent.
I appreciate that.
It was the only acceptance speech. I forgot that he did that.
Yes, it was. No, he was the only guy that grabbed the mic, and it was completely appropriate.
The guys that won the tournament didn't say anything.
Well, they didn't get to say a word.
Shout out TriStar Beverage.
I love the fact that Ron Slade gave a great acceptance speech, and I'm really impressed with the group that for 6 years in a row has got the Dead Ass Last Award. They impressed me too.
Well, I mean, that's Macho Man Titan guy.
Macho Man Titan. I mean, they were proud of it. I love the trophy. I want one of those trophies with that donkey kicking up his heels with his ass moving. I want that. And the other thing that was so great about the whole thing was, as everything was being handed out, Ron Slade had a comment about every group.
Yeah. When you walk in there fried off the course like that, Coach, you're gonna have a comment for everybody now. You got to know that.
And you know what I really like? All the action shots that they took of all the golfers. They were showing, people putting, people, swinging. It was really good. And then you were shotgunning a beer.
Yep.
Representing the radio station
Teammate
right there.
Yes. So
all right,
proud.
let's get back.
Let's offer this up though. One time he shotgunned a beer in Brett Kern's backswing and finished it before Brett hit the ball.
That's a talent.
Impressive.
That's a talent, Coach.
That's impressive. Here's what else is impressive. Look, Kern has punted with dudes coming at him to hit him. That didn't bother his back.
Nope. Didn't even phase him.
All right, so did you used to take guys in the 7th round because you didn't think there would be too much demand for that player in free agency after?
Brent, 100%. That's an insightful ask, and the answer is yes, absolutely yes. There are two things that you weigh against that. First of all, you look at your roster because you're constantly updating your roster on a board. You have your roster board. You're constantly updating it, saying how many people you want to take to camp. Okay, because with 90, so how many of your numbers are? Where are our numbers? How many free agents are we going to have to get? And then who are our A free agents? And if you have an A free agent sitting there and it starts getting down to it, and you think that if you don't draft him, that you might get into a Wild West show with him, you absolutely take him. That happens. Yes.
That's interesting. Coach Mack with us, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans.
So, Coach Mack, I this morning went through a bunch of the mock drafts and just to kind of see where people are projecting the Titans to be. And one thing that surprised me was that there were a couple out there that had linebacker Devin Lloyd from Utah headed to the Titans. Just want your thoughts on that. I just look at, and I know this is the decade-old question of do you draft for need, do you draft best player available on the board regardless of position. I understand all that, and it probably changes for teams per year. But I just want your take on that mock draft that I've seen quite a bit of on Lloyd.
Well, here's my take. First of all, Devin Lloyd, I really like. I think he's the best behind the ball backer in this draft. He and Nakobe Dean will probably vie for that spot, but Nakobe Dean is a completely different type of player than Devin Lloyd. So would he deserve a lower first round draft pick? Absolutely. But to me, I think that the Titans' priorities depending on what happens ahead of them, would be with either the offensive line or at receiver at that point, in my humble opinion. Because I think you can get a linebacker, maybe not of Devin Lloyd's ilk, but they've gotten some pretty good linebackers in the third, fourth, and fifth round. With this John Robinson and his crew's been drafting, since they've been doing it, that we've had here. So that would surprise me a little bit, Dawn. It really would.
I'm curious, Coach Mack.
I agree.
we hear lots of things as we get closer to the draft, obviously, and one of them. Right. One of them, the last few days, is that people are saying, well, there are only 14 first-round grades, or, some teams have no more than 15 players with first-round grades. Do you do it that way?
That may be true for some people. Hey, guys, this board this year is going to be so different in 30. It always is in 32 different cities. But let me just give you a little something that, we will bring up tomorrow when we start the draft. But there are 8 teams, right, that have 2 number 1 picks. But on the conversely, there are 8 teams that have no number 1 pick. And the other thing that you've got to think about when you're looking at this draft is how many first-year head coaches and GMs there are, and really how many second-year head coaches and GMs there are that really don't have a draft history nor track record. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very, very different, this draft is, I think, and it's going to be all over the board. So, just because somebody is not on somebody's board as a number 1 doesn't mean that you have graded them incorrectly. You just graded them like that for your place. And so, to me, that doesn't surprise me, though. It really doesn't. I think a lot of that talk, Brent, is coming from the fact that there are no definite true number 1 as far as whether it would grade out just standing alone quarterbacks in this draft.
Yeah.
And that this is a big man draft. It is. It's a big man draft offensively. It's a big man draft defensively. It's a receiver draft, and it's a corner draft. When you start talking about depth throughout this draft. And so that never does surprise me. Since I've been done with coaching, now that I can talk to a lot of people in the business about things, and they'll tell me it's amazing the disparity in draft boards when you really start talking to people that are deeply involved with it.
Now, is it so? If the guys that go undrafted, we watch it as a fan, and you see the draft, and once the draft is over, it's like, all right, cool. The draft continues to go for these NFL teams, right? Because it's a scramble, especially in a draft like this where it's after the top 10 is kind of like wide open, so you have a lot of guys that you're trying to get in. And how quick does that happen, Coach Mack, as far as reaching out to these guys and getting them locked in? Because like you said, it does turn into the Wild Wild West. This coming from an undrafted guy, I know how many people were hitting the phone in basketball. So in football, I can only imagine.
No, immediately. You're immediately on them. And I tell you what you do too. Starting about the 6th round, you divide up. I'll tell you what goes on. You divide your scouting staff and your coaching staff up into teams. Right. And normally you'll assign a scout to work with a position coach, saying here's our 6 guys. This is A group, B group, C group, and you've got your money for the A group, B group, C group. Everybody's got the same amount of money, the same pool, money-wise for free agents. But for these A players, we'll go up as high as $25,000 bonus. For Bs, maybe 15. For Cs, it's 10. Here's our ABCs. Let's go to work on them. And you go to work on them positionally, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you have somebody that's keeping the master board up there, and they'll come in and say, we got Ron Slay, A, done, mm-hmm. $25,000, gone. All right, next. And so as you're working, you're not only working against other people calling, you're also working against what's going up on your board. Because when and finally you'll hear it from the guy running the board say, hey, look, no more A players, no more A players because we're done with that. And plus, once you get down to where guys are holding out, then people start, overspending for them and cheating themselves on the back end. But it's a process. It is a real process, and it's very well organized. It's the Wild West in the fact that everybody can call,
right?
But it's a very organized process that has a lot of thought that goes into it before the draft hits. But once you start in, it's all hands on deck. Believe me, as a head coach, as a coordinator, I mean, you're handling 4 or 5 different phone calls at once trying to close deals with agents and with kids.
Right.
Coach Mack with us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. It's interesting. You always talk about there's 2 different drafts, the quarterback draft and the rest of the draft. And the rest of the draft is affected by that quarterback draft, right? And it's interesting. Now we keep seeing reports that there may not be a quarterback go until 20 to Pittsburgh. Now, if there are 14, 15 true first-round guys and everybody's trying to move back and it becomes – very difficult to do that, the Titans may be in a good position, right, if quarterback 1 doesn't go until 20. Because then if you do want to move back, right, Coach Mack, you could sell people on the idea that you might take a quarterback.
Well, the other thing that you do as the draft unfolds, see all of these scenarios, and again, some of them seem far-fetched, but, I mean, I've had some strange stuff go on with drafts that I've been involved in, over my years. Like you're going, when somebody's picked, all of a sudden you're drafting, you go, what the what? And so, I mean, that flips your switch a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, anything can happen. But to me, I think, again, as I said, one of the biggest things in this draft that's going to make it very unusual is the 8 teams with 2 picks in the first round and 8 teams with no first-round picks, because that makes a difference as to how those players are going to fall off the board. Quarterbacks are always a separate entity, and you're not going to move up to take a quarterback unless you have to have one. That's just the way it is. But this draft is structured so much differently than the one we even experienced last year when those quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3. This is different, and to me, it's going to be very, very because the belly of this draft, there are some good players. We've gone over it in the weeks going up, to it. You guys have done extensive work on it. There's some good players in the belly of the draft, and really, that's where your team is made, is the belly of the draft. People think that Les Snead at the Rams just said F all these picks and just won a Super Bowl. Well, that's not really what happened. He traded first round picks for premier players and traded away first-round picks, but he also he's had 45 picks in the middle rounds in 5 years. And they've done a good job of identifying those guys, but what they've done is taken their first-round pick and traded that with a lot of money for premier players that were free agents in this league.
Coach Mack with us on 3HL. Coach Mack, there is a guy that we have fallen in love with as a show that's probably more of a third-round wide receiver. And when I was driving in yesterday, I heard Blaine and Mickey ask you about Calvin Austin III. And so we had him on the show yesterday and played your evaluation of him to him.
What do you think?
We're going to play it for you. But for those that didn't hear it, Coach Mack said slot guy, size is what the size is, fast, 4.32, that's his thing, can go after the ball, all of these things. So we played that for him. This is what he said.
Yeah, that's very fair. That's something that I'm definitely agree with, just from the standpoint of, obviously the size is just the size is the size.
Right.
I feel like the things that I can do, just with ball skills, punt return, kick return, deep balls, screens, I feel like that's just like better. Just shows my versatility and how I'll be able to overcome the height factor.
We fell in love with that kid yesterday. I mean, the guy turned down Ivy League football opportunities to go to Memphis because he grew up a Memphis fan.
Let me say this. Coach Mack is saying this right now on 3HL. That kid's going to play in the league. That kid's going to play in the league. He's got juju to him. He's got juju to him, and he's an instant get when that ball is in his hands. Now he's overcome this size thing his whole life, right?
Right.
And he's got that go gadget roadrunner speed that you just can't manufacture. But he's good with the ball in his hands, and he goes after it. He's a tough guy. I've talked to receiver coaches about him. I talked to a lot of receiver coaches at the combine because I always, sit with the and go in the boxes and sit with all the position coaches. And the thing they like about this kid too is he's really smart. He's extremely smart and he's competitive. I like the dude. I really do. And I'm glad that he likes Coach Mack's evaluation.
Yes, he thought that was fair. Coach Mack, always great talking with you. Thank you very much. We look forward to the draft coverage coming up Thursday and Friday night.
Showtime, Coach.
Always a pleasure, guys. Hey, no shock collar. See you.
Snort one for Slate.
That may count as multiple snorts.
Yeah, that was full on
good
it. Clear out the nasal cavity there. Coach Mack presented by Farm Bureau Health Plan. Here is what's going to happen in the next segment. We heard Mark Mariani's draft story from the Titan perspective. We'll hear it from Mark Mariani's perspective next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
Listen to that excitement. Hey, you might have some excitement too on maybe, updating your house or adding to your house. And maybe you thought about moving and you know how hard it is right now with not a whole lot of inventory and prices are crazy high and rates moving up. And here's your other idea. Transform that house with Loan Pronto. My friends at Loan Pronto can help you refinance your current home, turn your equity that you have into cash, and we all have equity in our homes in this area, and then totally transform your house with a new kitchen, a new bath, maybe a new pool. That's exactly what we did, and it was super easy with Loan Pronto. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. Added hardwoods, outdoor living space, swimming pool, spa, cabinets, all new cabinets, appliances, and a home office. And now they have their dream home and they never had to move. So call Loan Pronto and convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. Ask about their home improvement refi and give your home a total makeover. And you could skip your next house payment in the process. 615-499-5780 is your number. And loanpronto.com is the website. Again, that's 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
3HL 1045 is O. Gary on Twitter at 3HL 1045. I'm hoping Joe Hunt plays Holla Back Girl coming back in.
Taking requests.
We were talking about the woo girls, and Slay said he likes to mess with them by honking the horn and making them woo over and over and over again. If they can't do it, get somebody else.
Yeah, they got 6. You got to have a 6 limit. 6. You got to be able to go 6 woos in a row. Can't get your 6 woos in a row.
There's another woo girl just standing there ready. She's
Can't
ready.
Right there at the scores table. Yeah, you got to have 6 of them. Woo, 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 woo.
Mary Annie deals with this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In downtown Nashville. Mark, what's up? How are you?
6 in a row, Slay?
Yeah, man.
That's a lot to ask for. Holy, that's a lot of woo in one.
Yeah, but you got to be in the moment, Mark. You know what I mean? At that time when the honks are coming, you don't know when they coming. They could all come in a row. Honk, 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 honk. You like, woo, 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 woo. You know what I mean? You got to be ready to roll, Mark. It's prime time real estate down here for the woo girls.
That's right. If you're getting pulled around on a tractor trailer, you got to be ready to woo.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Mark. One day, you're not going to know when it's going to happen. Me and Slay going to camp out down by your house.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just going to wait till they roll by, and then we're going to let it rip.
You guys would look good on the back of one of those fifth wheelers, man. You guys would look good on those things.
Hey, so
That's awesome. Yeah, that is my neck of the woods, man. Those are my people down there.
those are your people, the woo girls. They come in town, they leave. It's the best. It's the best.
That's right.
I talked to a buddy of mine. He lived in downtown Memphis. He was single at the time, and he was like, "That's the best thing, man. They come in town, they leave.
Hey, back out.
No drama."
Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. That's all it is.
Hey,
No drama. Ever just fake names. Yeah.
nothing's real. Mark Mariani with us on 3HL, at Mark Mariani 80 on Twitter. We like to call him Moonshine. And hey, Coach Mack, the reason why we called you is Coach Mack he said, sometimes weird things happen in the draft. And he told your story about how you cussed everybody out on the speakerphone in the Titans draft war room because you thought Brandon Fisher, your former teammate, was playing a joke on you. So we called you to get your perspective of that story. Is that true and how that went down?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think the first impression, I kind of blew that one. But truth is, so here's how it all played out. It was a long day, man. It was a long day. I had a graduation/draft day party, and everyone was exhausted and had left me besides my parents. Like it was like, oh my God, bro, you ain't getting drafted, bro. We're leaving this party. We got stuff to do. So it had already been a long day. It had already been a long day. Not to mention, they drafted Damian Williams in the 3rd round.
Right.
So I was like, they were off my board. But anyway, our buddy Shan Schillinger gets drafted in the 6th round, and we're on some group threads going, "Hey, congrats, man! What's up? Hey, Marianne, how you feeling?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm tripping out. If you want to know the truth, I'm absolutely tripping out." We get into the 7th round, and
had people already started calling you about like free agency after the draft, stuff like that?
Yeah, and that's what it was. My phone was blowing up off the hook, so I had nonstop unknown numbers coming in, and every time my heart dropped, and I was like, oh my god, dude, like, this is it, bro, this is gonna be the one. And then it was like, hey man, we don't have any picks left, but once this draft's over, I'm like, just, oh man, I had like 10 or 12 of those in like a 40-minute span. Anyway, I had talked to Brandon after our buddy got drafted, and I was like, bro, this is wearing me out, this is killing me. He's like, oh, just, kind of like, whatever. Keep, stay, keep your expectations up. Something's gonna happen, whatever. So he knew. I'd already told him.
He knew. Yeah.
I was already tripping out. Well, then here's what happened. So he checks in with me. I think it was via text, and he says, "How's it going?" And I was actually like, "Bro, Dallas has a pick left, man. I think it's happening." And so there was all this build up. So then he calls me. And he calls me back, and this is like the 3rd time I'd talked to him, and he goes, dude, you're going to be a Tennessee Titan. And I'm like, you mother – beep. No, it's not the time.
To play around.
Beep. And he was like, dude, I'm not kidding, bro. Because Dallas was coming up in like 2 picks. They had called me, and they picked me like 2 picks in front of them. And I was like, bro, and I'm just cussing him out like we were at, late night at the college bar and, whatever, he stole my drink. And all of a sudden he goes, no, here, I'll just hand the phone off to, or whatever, here's Papa Fish. And he was like, and of course, Coach was like, hey, man, yeah, you're on speaker. Here's Mr. Reinfeld and Rustin and the whole scouting department. And I was like, oh, my gosh, dude. That is how I'm going to get drafted. Dude. So, anyway, pick 222 after probably 9 hours of watching the tube during a commercial break on the draft coverage. Your boy got his name called, and Brandon called me and told me. So we still laughed about that one. But yeah, it was. I still didn't believe him, even when Coach was on the phone. But it was pretty awesome. And then the next call was Jared Puffer, and he was like, "Wow, that was something I'm not used to seeing." I'm like, yeah, I really screwed that one up. Like,
Puff works media relations with the Titans, for those that don't know. Yes.
He's getting more information. And I was like, yeah, my dad just handed me a Crown Royal shot, and I'm celebrating now. And he's like, yeah, we're going to leave that on the press release as well. I'm like, okay. This isn't going so well, man. So anyway, just me and my parents were left in the room, and we enjoyed ourselves. And T22, man, that's how it happened. And Coach Mack, it's all Coach Mack's fault, man. All of this shenanigans we've all been through.
You cursed out the entire Titans organization in one swoop.
Speaker phone call.
Yeah, I love it.
Welcome to the organization. Thank God Bud wasn't in there.
Oh, my
He
God.
might have liked you
He
more.
would have been okay with that.
Yeah, he goes double birds,
Yeah,
man.
you're right. You're right. I might have been on his good side after that.
So what did you do that night to celebrate?
Oh, dude, I'm dead serious about that. It was when I got, my dad was locked and loaded, like, because we had gotten all these unknown phone calls. He was ready. But so halfway through the phone call, he's hit me with a shot of Crown Royal, the gold bag. I don't even know what that one is, but the nicer stuff than I was drinking previously, and that's how we celebrated, man. And Missoula got turned upside down for a bit, and then that was it, man. But just the work started, I guess. I got down to Nashville, and Nashville is the biggest city this Montana boy had ever seen in his life. I was like, oh my God. Check out all these watering holes, dude. We got Midtown, we got downtown, we got all these options. This is the greatest ever. So,
and look at it now.
Right,
I know, and you never left except for that little side trip to Chicago there for a minute. But hey,
you guys are stuck with me.
We appreciate you hopping on just short notice. We just wanted to get that draft story from both sides.
No, I love it. Draft weekend always brings up good memories. I appreciate you guys. You guys have an awesome weekend. We'll talk soon.
There he is.
Mark.
See you, Mark.
222.
Yeah, that was dope.
Dad was locked and loaded.
He was ready to roll, baby. Just give me that look.
Here's a shot of Crown from the gold bag.
Yeah. As a special reserve, man.
Oh, man. All right, 4 o'clock hour coming up, 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Woo, Twitch, please. I feel like I have to do that every time. Like, it doesn't sound right without it. Hey, let's talk hockey because your Nashville Preds are in the playoffs. Guess what? If you were a season ticket holder, you get your tickets for round 1 of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs up to 20% lower than your regular season price. And by the way, if you're a season ticket citizen, tickets for round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs will be the same as your regular season price. That's just one of the benefits for being a season ticket holder for the Preds. I mean, the other benefit is you get to go and enjoy amazing experience every single game. Join the Loyal Legion today. They have full, they have half, and they have quarter season plans available with the Preds. And obviously that priority access to Stanley Cup playoff tickets is awesome. You also get the best seat locations. You get 6 bonus tickets to share with your friends and family for next season. And you get a bunch of other benefits, pre-sales to Bridgestone Arena, Preds Foundation events, savings, concession discounts, you name it, you get it. Learn more at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets, and let's go Preds.
Good afternoon. I am Joe Hunk, and we are a little over 24 hours away from the first draft pick being named. And the Titans have already made a little bit of news just a little while ago as they have announced that they have picked up the fifth-year option on Big Jeff Simmons, coming back for the season. Now, when it comes to the Preds, it's good and bad. Preds are in the playoffs, but UC Saros is going to be out for at least the next two regular season games. The Preds have announced that they are calling up Connor Ingram from Milwaukee, who currently leads the AHL in games played, minutes played, saves. And he's also tied for first in shutouts. So, that's going to be that. We don't know how bad UC Saros' lower back injury is and if he will be ready for game one of the playoffs. Who will that be against? Well, we don't know because right now the Preds and the Stars are tied for the two wild card spots with both teams having 95 points apiece. The Stars tonight will be hosting the Phoenix Coyotes in Dallas. If the teams end the season tied, Preds win the tiebreaker. And the Braves are back on the mound tonight as they will be taking on the Cubs in game two of their series. First pitch is scheduled for 6:20. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone, 4 o'clock hour. Happy Wednesday. It is Hump Day.
Hump Day
in the Music City. Talked a lot about the Woo Girls in the first hour. They're out and about, man.
Yes, they are.
Woo! Dawn Davenport in her last spot. I don't even know if she knows that she did it, but she became a Woo Girl herself in her last spot.
I did?
Yeah.
I didn't know I did it.
Proud of you, Babs.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
What'd you say? If you can't properly woo, we got another woo girl with her white boots ready to go.
Right there. All you got to do is turn. Hey, you got your white boots.
How did white boots become a thing?
I don't know. I just figured it out. Last summer when it became a thing? All of a sudden, it was just white boots everywhere.
I don't know because
Yeah, this is how I found out
you
about it.
have to be a certain kind of person to pull off white shoes, boots, any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My man got white shoes.
Mayor has white shoes on.
Ha ha! Woo!
White shoe guy.
You better woo it, right?
Yeah, you better
there
woo.
she is. She's putting her baby in a dog collar.
This
Dawn
is not true.
Davenport.
This is not true.
Obviously.
Oh, man.
We are one day away from draft.
Yes,
Let's go.
indeed.
Like, how are you going to keep the baby away from the pool? Shot collar. What's the mental image of that?
I love it.
By the way, she's kidding.
I mean, I don't love it. I mean, I'm just.
Y'all.
For any of y'all out there that take things too seriously,
This ain't it.
number one, you haven't listened to the show very often, I guess.
Yeah.
But the other part of that is, like, the mental image that Slay and I have when she said that was
Yeah.
this baby wandering toward the pool. Like, just turns around. What's that?
Hey, woo, Mom.
That's how the Woo Girls became Woo Girls.
What's that?
Yeah.
That's shocked.
All right, that's not Davenport. This is Ron Slay. He's
I'm in
right.
the building. I'm in the building.
Ooh, natural.
Yeah.
Just in time for
Yeah,
the
I mean,
draft.
right there on it. Yeah, I mean. Yeah. What's up, kids?
You ready for this?
I think the kids love the natural too, I think.
Are you ready for the
I missed
NFL
it.
draft?
Yeah, that is bad.
Man, the more I think about the NFL draft, the more I think this is a role player draft, man. And I look, I'm trying to get excited. The thing that's going to make me excited about this is the quarterback deal, right? Like, because that's the part of it you don't know where somebody, like, you've got people that say Detroit's taking Malik Willis at number 2. You've got other people saying quarterback's not going to number 20. Well, which is it? Because it's going to flip the draft on its head either way.
Okay, but here's the deal. I mean, there are teams that have to have a quarterback.
Got to.
You don't have a choice. Some of them, right?
I just think these quarterbacks, like, suck, really.
Well,
When you think quarterback and you think top 2 rounds, you think play. I don't think we really. I don't think play when I think about these. Outside of Malik Willis, and
I
Kenny
shouldn't say
Pickett.
suck.
what
That
about
might be a
Kenny
little
Pickett?
harsh.
Why
Kenny Pickett and
why
Malik
all of a
Willis,
sudden
I'm with that.
everybody is like anti Kenny Pickett.
I thought he was tough. Watching him when they played UT in that second half, I was like, dude, dude a pro. Like it was almost like the coach told him just go.
My concern about Kenny Pickett is he sucked forever and then became good one year.
Guess who else did?
I know Joe
A lot of
Burrow.
people.
Joe freaking Burrow.
Yeah,
But he changed schools and got Joe Brady and all those. Joe Brady?
Well, guess what?
I
Kenny
forget.
Pickett changed offensive coordinators and offenses to a more NFL pro style offense
And it
his
worked.
last year. And that's where he excelled. I'm not advocating for Kenny Pickett. I'm just pointing out. I'm just being devil's advocate here.
5 years from now, is there an All-Pro in here?
Yes.
Okay, who is it?
You mean in the quarterbacks or in this draft?
In the quarterbacks.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody's bound to be good. This might be one of those drafts where, like, the best player came out of the 6th round, though. Like, this is, I've convinced myself that this is a weird draft.
I think the only reason that people have that feeling is because our quarterback class is so weird.
Yeah.
And so and isn't valued as first round pick quarterbacks. I think that's why. I think that's like throwing off the thought on the entire draft class. And I think we're kind of missing some things there.
That's why I was asking Coach Mack, because is it going to be a scramble? Because I feel this, if no other offseason would be as important, just because the free agents that you can go and clamor and get and try to stockpile and really see. I think there'll be a lot of players that'll come out of the free agency and that'll really be good. Undrafted guys that'll really be good when it's this case. Because you got to imagine the guys that's going to get missed or looked over. I hate this. I really wish.
That's what I started the segment with.
I really feel like
I'm trying to convince myself that there's going to be drama, and
I
that's
think
why
it's
I'm
gonna-
going to watch, which I will.
the
but-
receivers, and I've never been this intrigued by receivers and linemen. I don't know if it's just because that's what we need at
That's
the
what
Titans.
the Titans need, yeah.
Or what, but man, I am in tune with linemen and receivers right now.
The other scary part is like all these reports that all the teams have 15 or so first round graded guys,
Right.
which makes it impossible to trade back
Correct.
Right.
unless the quarterbacks last until 20. Like that little scenario excited me because at that point, if I'm John Robinson, I'm telling everybody who will listen, hey man, we love one of these quarterbacks.
We're about to go get Malik Willis.
And so then at that point, Detroit's got to come up. Or, you know what I mean? Like somebody will have to come up. Unless Malik Willis is the guy that goes first in the quarterback group and goes to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then maybe Kenny Pickett's sitting there. I just don't love, like Desmond Ritter's my guy out of this group. But that's the other thing is like we all have our favorite guy. There's not one dude, right?
Nope, it's not.
So I don't know. And then the other part of it is like, you know, we all kind of think offensive line with that first pick if they stay at 26.
Yeah.
And though it's needed, to Dawn's point, she said this the other day, it's not sexy.
No, but that's never
It's
sexy.
utilitarian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Utilitarian.
I mean,
Hardcore, but yeah.
It is.
It ain't sexy.
So that's where we are. 615-737-1045. I mean, we're going to talk to Greg Cosell tomorrow about some of these guys, but I just jotted down, we all did, just jotted down some guys that maybe we could talk with him about. It looks like Zion Johnson might not be there. Kenyon Green, I did see from Texas A&M, and I love this dude. You know, the SEC guys we've seen more than the other people, right?
Right.
Unless you do a deep dive online. But Kenyon Green, I did see in the betonline.ag, they do over-under where they go in the first round, and he was at 28.5.
Really, that's good.
So his Vegas number is that he'll be there.
Yeah.
Right.
So if that's the case, then, you know, maybe you do get excited about that.
I mean,
that's your left guard.
are Titans fans happy if that happens? Are you good with that?
He's your starter at left guard day one if they get him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much time does he need to acclimate? Basically, as a rookie offensive lineman with Derrick Henry behind you, the first thing you need to do is you better get through that hole.
Yeah.
Because Derrick Henry's going to run you over if you're still there.
You better get him in the backfield.
He'll stiff arm his own guy.
Right. You see old Jimmy Wyatt's I missed it.
Did he put it out?
That's what I was trying to say. I thought he did.
He's in Vegas.
Then I lost it.
By the way, Will Bowling's going to check in at 5:20 from Vegas. That's the most unlikely Vegas tourist. Well, he's working, but Vegas person from out of town ever. Like Vegas isn't going to know what it hit. There's never been a guy like Will Bowling in Vegas.
No, it is not.
We think Vegas is going to corrupt
Unless they
Will?
have to go.
Yeah, unless they had to be in Vegas.
Unless they have to go for work.
Kind of like Will. Will
I
had
don't
to
like
go.
bowling.
I
Do
mean,
you think he'll step foot in a casino?
zero chance.
Well, just to get to his room.
Yeah, to his room.
I don't even
Yeah.
think. I think he'll ask for a back door
What a waste.
to get to his room.
I mean, what a waste.
Got a back elevator.
Waste
But
of
he's-
a good, solid trip to Vegas.
He's also like 75 in a 24-year-old body,
Yeah.
which is funny because he was filling in for J-Mart for a few days, and he was like, I gotta make you guys younger. I'm like, you're not doing that. What are you talking about?
Should have bought tickets to a show for him tonight just so that he had to go do something.
Something, anything.
Like Blue Man Group or something, just to go, so he has to go
Just so
see
he
it.
could go.
Oh, man. 615-737-1045. What are you thinking about the draft? What's your excitement level about this thing, 1 to 10? Also, Todd Fuhrman at 4:30. So we'll get some Vegas perspective from Todd Fuhrman coming up. You'll hear from Ja Morant a little bit later as the Memphis Grizzlies were able to overcome another big deficit. Brandon Clark after the game said, man, I would prefer in Game 5 that we're not down 15 to 20 points at some point, which is true. Play from the front next time, Grizz. All right, 3HL, 4 o'clock hour, 615-737-1045. Listen, Hitman, people define fluff classes differently, right? So keep that in mind. Come to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle, car, truck, SUV, or Jeep, whatever you're looking for. They will be able to help you out. Here's the thing. When you go see my friends at Gupton, you will experience no pressure at all because they want one thing for you. That's you in the vehicle that's right for you. That's it. So go ask your questions. They'll have your answers for you. Take your test drive. Go inside. They'll help make the numbers work. It'll be that easy. It is Jeep season. If you have been thinking about wanting a Jeep forever, why not now? The value that they hold is phenomenal. That's one thing. Also, take the roof off, the doors off on a day like this. Be great. And then you would not have a roof to your car or Jeep. Go take your test drive, like I said, and go see my friends at Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. 24 West to exit 35, straight shot. 3450 Tom Austin Highway, about 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Check them out online, GuptonMotors.com. The inventory's there. The dealership info is there as well, GuptonMotors.com. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Brett Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay.
Yo, it's hump day.
We got a lot of Alan Jackson.
That is correct.
Is there a reason?
There is a reason. It is my wife's and my anniversary is today and on Saturday or on Friday.
What?
So my wife wants, for some reason, to continue talking about the time that we started dating.
But you're married, so you
we're
should only
married.
have one anniversary.
No,
Right.
yeah, all the dating
So-
stuff
Yeah,
goes
the dating.
through.
That's
See,
that's
so
over.
we're
that
married.
was what the Trump was for.
And so that's what we've been doing. So our wedding
Donald Trump.
anniversary is on Friday.
I don't know.
But she texted me earlier and she's like, do you know what today is? The day before the draft?
Listen to Bab. She loves this.
I love it because I'm like, I don't even remember my real wedding anniversary, much less our like first date.
Well, and that's where the Alan Jackson comes in, because it was at an Alan Jackson concert that we have made it official, which was today in 2013.
Well, there you go.
So and Alan Jackson's her favorite artist.
That's why we have Alan Jackson
Yeah.
today, boys.
I told her, I said,
Okay.
you better listen
5
today
o'clock
because
somewhere.
I am playing a ton of Alan Jackson for you, so you better be listening today.
And you're on a loop. Like we keep hearing the beginning of the
Yeah,
lyrics
I
every,
I know.
every time.
It's all right to be a little bitty.
Oh, I mean,
Hit us on Twitter at 3HL1045. Just saying, right? Don't see any quarterback all pros either. And Willis, he threw 3 interceptions versus an average Ole Miss defense. Don't see it. I saw Malik Willis play against Ole Miss too, but you have to put that into perspective.
Okay.
Because he's not working with the whole.
Thank you. His line was, man, as soon as you hiked the ball, you had to be running. Like everything was a bootleg.
But who's the guy I saw play against LSU and it was the same thing? Jordan Love. Remember,
Yes.
I said that's the same thing. Like one game I saw him played against LSU, and
I worked
sucked.
that game
Right.
and he was awful.
Yeah. I would be cool on that.
Meanwhile, he's still sitting on the bench.
Meanwhile, at that same time,
Meanwhile,
Sam
we don't
Howell
know
was
how
the
he
guy.
is.
Yeah, and
Now
Babs
that
told us
one-
that wasn't nothing.
That's,
Sam Howell's another
that's a
one.
different conversation.
Exactly. What?
Just put all these quarterbacks on one of these pedal taverns and run them around downtown Nashville. I
The
don't
last
care.
one that can do the woo goes first.
I don't even care. Like they can just stay on the paddle tavern. It's like the guy that rolls the rock up the hill for eternity.
They just gonna stay on it.
Sisyphus.
They just sitting there
Yeah.
as the draft goes.
That's their eternity roll right there on the pedal tavern, making laps. So Jack Gentry from A to Z Sports said, "How badly do you want the Titans to draft Treylon Burks?" And he.
Oh my gosh.
The reason why I saw this is because Mickey Ryan wrote, that is absolutely terrifying. I will say, full disclosure, I'm the one that wanted to play this because I think it's hysterical.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And I said no.
Me,
Dawn-
I was with Babs.
And Slay said, no, you be the judge. Here's how badly they want Treylon Burks.
Come on, pig. Piggy. Come on, piggy.
This is horrible. Gosh. This is a human.
This is well,
He's calling the hogs.
yeah. This is only good in
That's the
Fayetteville.
worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's only in Fayetteville.
And if I were in my car right there, I'd have turned it down.
Meanwhile, I want to play it again. This guy's like,
No.
look,
No.
he's, he's got
No.
he's got
I'm with
buzzed,
Babs, Euro.
he's got buzzed hair. He's got sunglasses on.
You gotta have sunglasses on when you calling.
He looks like he's in a school auditorium, but he's in like
You got a polo. on.
he's in a portable. You
shouldn't
know,
even
like
have
if
a
you went to a
polo on.
public school and like the public school gets bigger, they don't just add on to the school. They build.
put
They
portables
bring
out
in
there.
these portables out there. He looks
They
like he's
call
in a
them
portable.
portables. They're trailers.
Trailers,
Exactly.
Yeah, why did they call them that?
Because they didn't want to call them trailers.
We can,
You're in the portable classroom.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in the
AKA,
trailer.
you're in the trailer.
Yeah,
It's okay.
They tricked me all this
See,
time.
I had 6th grade with Miss Crownover in the portable
Oh, yeah.
over at Stokes Elementary on
my,
Belmont.
my entire 8th grade was in portables because we were building a new school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he's also wearing like, remember back in like the late 80s and early 90s, maybe if you're our age or my age, like people were wearing Chaps shirts. Remember those? This is what he has on.
He looks like the guy from Super Troopers, the one that gets the loogie in his burger. That's what he looks
I've never
like,
seen that.
Farva or whatever his name is. That's what he looks
man.
like.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So,
Look at this dude, man.
No, we don't want Traylon Burks that bad.
No,
Not as bad as
not
that
to
guy?
hear that. No.
Not to hear them calling the honk.
Hey, come on, honk. Joseph?
I like when he had like the demon coming out of him at the end of it. It's like, oh man, red
That's
rum.
not right.
Red rum. Dallas says, put these quarterbacks on a roulette wheel. But you know that there are some scouts on some of these teams that are like, this guy is going to be the one. I'm telling you.
But they got to be that way to keep their job.
But it's like Matt Miller told
Well,
us.
they won't be keeping their job
They
if
won't
they're
have-
wrong.
NFL draft scout, right? He told us, he said, look, man, if I'm Carolina, because the word was because Carolina needs a quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they would take Kenny Pickett. Well, those talks have cooled right after Matt Miller told us, could you imagine having to go into the owner and saying, hey, man, Kenny Pickett's going to get us to the Super Bowl. We're going to put all of our financial assets on this guy. He goes, I can't lie that well.
No. I don't think you go in and do that.
The only way you can sell quarterback is if you don't need a quarterback. Like if you can just throw one guy over here, like a layaway program, you know? Like you bought a TV at Walmart.
Long time.
Yeah, and it's still sitting there when you need it down the road.
Like
I think
Jordan
these.
Yeah, like Jordan Love.
Yeah.
But see, that was an educated guess there because at some point you would figure, if you're the Packers, that Aaron Rodgers would have derailed himself or them and left.
Yep.
And it just didn't happen.
Yeah, y'all pissed him off a little bit, so he going to stay there a little longer and win maybe another MVP.
615-737-1045. The over-under number of quarterbacks to go in the first round. According to betonline.ag.
I'm going under on whatever it is. One.
I haven't even told you the number yet.
I'm going under.
Under one.
Yeah, I'm good with the tie.
Put them on the roulette wheel and just let it keep spinning. That's like our scenario with the pedal tapper. Just let it roll around down Nashville for a while. 3.5. Over under number of quarterbacks taken in the first round, 3.5.
That hook is something else. That half. That half is a get you, boy. Ooh, get you. Because I would feel safe at time with 3. That hook could put you over and make you lose all your money. Believe me, the press showed me.
I would go under 3.5, right?
Going under 3, yeah. I'm going under 3. Let me set my own.
I think there will be 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round.
Pickett and
Malik Willis.
Yep.
Yep.
Think all the talk around Ritter is not real. We can go get him in the third.
I mean, who the hell knows? You know?
I'll agree. Hey,
the one scenario is if somebody trades up, like Detroit trades up because they think somebody might.
And that
take
still
Ritter.
is just give you 3.
And that gives you 3, so you're still good.
Yep.
Because there's not a half a guy.
Listen, I'm on the limb, everybody. It's not 4 quarterbacks being taken in the first round. Forget that. Oh, she about to tell me I'm wrong.
Who are the 3?
Ritter, Willis, and Pickett.
I'm with you. So Matt Corral doesn't go in the first round.
Matt, he lucky he going to second.
You think?
Yeah.
Wow.
And see, this is personal.
Here's the thing, too. Like, if you really need a quarterback.
Just put that out there.
And I'm not a Baker Mayfield guy, but isn't he better than any of the quarterbacks that are in this draft?
Baker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I
I mean,
know.
I don't know if he's better, but he's proven.
He's better right now.
Yeah, he's proven.
He's more proven?
Yeah. Than these guys. Like, this is, you starting all the way over with these guys. And
I can't believe I'm the one on the show defending Baker Mayfield because Don Davenport loves him. But we got to keep in mind that he played through an injury last year to his shoulder,
Yeah.
which he shouldn't have done.
No, that is the first thing a vet will tell you. Don't you ever play through an injury where you're not yourself or that can hurt you in the long run because they don't care. Like the teams are not going to remember, oh, but you played through an injury when it comes to contract time. They don't care.
So that's for the fans. So in other words, treat it like a business.
Todd Fuhrman talks point spreads and other things Vegas-wise. Joins us now. And Todd played college hockey. Did you play through injuries, Todd? Were you a tough guy?
I did play through injuries. I think the main one that I had to get through, not so much my college hockey days, that was more spent gambling and eating Sour Patch Kids while I was on the bench as a second-string goalie. But I did have an opportunity to start once our main goalie got concussed. It was my sophomore year. Started a tournament game, decided to pull off my glove to grab a bear puck in my crease. I still have the scar on my hand now. If it was about a quarter of an inch further to the left, I probably would have lost feeling in my right hand. Had to come back the following day, couldn't even grab my stick. And let's just say that performance was nothing to write home about. But I think the worst injury was playing through a hairline fracture in my hip when I was 14.
Golly. Todd, how many goals did you give up in your career? In a game?
In my
one game.
career, Slim?
In one game.
Let's be honest,
in one game.
The most I gave up in a game, I gave up 10 goals in a game when I was a senior in high school. I played for a team that did not win a single game my senior year. We finished 0-23-1. The irony in all of that, Slay, when I would go through the handshake lines at the end of every game, opposing coaches would apologize to me because our offense was so anemic. We basically played 7 guys. There was one game where we played a school called Brooks. We got outshot 61-6 in that game. Lost 1-0, and the other coach told me, "I've never seen a performance like that. You deserved a hell of a lot better." And the one thing I hang my hat on, despite not having a win, was setting a record, being named All League, despite breaking the record for the highest goals against average ever to be named All League in New England.
Hey, you were cold-blooded though, Todd. Okay.
60 saves.
In that goal, in that game in which you gave up 10 goals, did you give up 7 in a period?
I did not give up 7 in a period, but trust me, I mean, if you guys have to go with Big Save Dave in your opening playoff series, you're going to wish you had the goalie that gave up a handful of those goals in the second period against the St. Louis Blues. So those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. But I've had my fair share of bad outings. I mean, I gave up 3 goals in a game in the first 6 minutes on 4 shots, got pulled, had one of the parents on our hockey team basically signaling with a hook, and it was a lasting visual that stayed with me through the rest of the season. So as any athlete knows, you have your highs, you have your lows, and it's how you bounce back from them to obviously make yourself better.
Dang.
Joe Hunk is like rolling through Todd Fuhrman information. He has found like your career on the internet, so we'll have fun with that.
I'll be honest, there ain't much to write home about from a college hockey career standpoint. I didn't really peak that way, but I still hold a couple of state championships that I won very near and dear to me when I played for teams that could actually give me a little bit of run support, so to speak. So wouldn't trade my hockey experience for anything, but I have not put on the gear and stopped puck in live action in, God, more than 18 years at this point.
Todd Fuhrman, our guy
5'11",
in Vegas.
160 pounds. Is that right?
A bulldog.
Don, that was generous. I mean, you guys read enough media guides, and you know exactly how they love to inflate height and weight. I think when they said 5'11", 160, I was probably more in that 5'10", a $142 soaking wet. But it was also when creatine was real big, so I juiced myself up pretty good going into fall workouts. So when I jumped on that scale, there's a good chance I polished off 12 or 15 Busch Lights before. So I might have been tipping the scales at 155, 160.
So the Preds clinch with an overtime loss, and your Vegas boys fell in the shootout to Dallas. UC Sorrow is going to miss the last 2 regular season games. We don't know what's going on beyond that. How does that affect the Predators?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Predators should start to make tee times for their golf game, probably 10 days from Monday or Tuesday, depending on when the series starts. Unfortunately, UC Saros was the only hope they had to pull off an upset, whether they drew Colorado in the opening round or the Calgary Flames. Now, hey, look, maybe David Riddick has a chance to prove his mettle to a team that cut ties with him in Calgary and surprise all of us. But I just don't like the way the Preds have trended defensively. You look at some of their metrics, they're giving up a ton of expected goals and a lot of high-danger scoring chances, and they just haven't been able to clamp down when they have a lead. I think the season has to be viewed as a success because they have an identity. There's a lot of young talent to be excited about, but some major decisions will have to be made in terms of what kind of commitment they'll make to a player like Philip Forsberg, or if they want to go for a full-blown youth movement to try and compete in a division that really leaves a gold standard in Colorado who ain't going away anytime soon.
Let's say they do have UC Sorrows. Then how do you break it down?
I think UC's got to be at his best. I mean, Juice has to be able to steal 1, if not 2 games in that series for the Preds to have a little bit more than a puncher's chance, and we've seen him be more than capable of doing that. I mean, last year I don't think anybody really believed that they could push the Carolina Hurricanes the way they did. And all it takes in the Stanley Cup playoffs, as we know all too well, is a goalie getting hot, stealing 1 game, and that heavily favored team starts to doubt themselves. They grip their sticks a little bit tighter. They're not as apt to throw pucks on the net. and I think it changes the dynamic quite a bit. So I think when you have a goalie as talented as Juice in the mix, if he's even close to 100%, they have more than a puncher's chance without him. I just don't see another path for Nashville being able to steal one series, let alone making a deep run in the Western Conference playoffs.
How many quarterbacks do you think are taken in the first round?
How many quarterbacks should be taken? The answer is 0. How many quarterbacks will be taken? I think Malik Willis is one that you pencil in automatically. I think he's got that level of tantalizing talent and athleticism that's going to be hard for teams to ignore with such an emphasis placed on mobility. But for those folks who watch Malik step up in class last year against Ole Miss or against Syracuse on Friday night, he's going to be an ongoing development project. I don't think he's a guy that you can plug in right away and expect him to win at the NFL level, taking the transition from Liberty. Kenny Pickett's a player who, in years past probably would have had a third-round draft grade that I think teams will want to reach a little bit to try and get him. And then the $100 million question, does a team trade up for a Matt Corral or Desmond Ridder? I think when you look at the way that the NFL first round is structured, getting that fifth year of control, even if a quarterback doesn't pan out, is awfully tempting, and that's why you may see teams that have multiple draft picks trade into the back half of the first round just to have that opportunity. But I kind of joked on CBS when you look at some of the markets, and it's more a flyer than anything else. If the Tennessee Titans are sitting there at 25, would they consider taking a quarterback that they thought could become the heir apparent to Ryan Tannehill, knowing what that cap hit looks like, and a player like Kenny Pickett who gets the ball out of his hand quickly, he's a little bit more of a pro-style quarterback, doesn't have to deal with some of the elements and the arm strength questions that I think you'd have to face if he started for the Steelers or teams that play in inclement weather more often than not.
Todd on fire. I like that.
Would it make more sense?
Todd is saying the Titans are going to pick Kenny Pickett?
Not about that.
I said, hold on. I said the price in the market was 18 or 20 to 1. I've made worse bets in my life. Am I saying that Kenny Pickett to the Titans is as likely as Travon Walker to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Absolutely not here, guys.
So if you're close on an offensive lineman and a wide receiver, would it make more sense to take the wide receiver because of the fifth-year option thing with the first-round picks?
Yeah, given what we've seen this offseason, when Deebo Samuel and A.J. Brown and Devontae Adams are commanding, these high-end deals, that I think if you believe that you have a receiver who can become a bona fide 1A or 1B, that you probably want to go in that particular direction. Offensive linemen, I'm not going to say they're a dime a dozen by any stretch of the imagination to be ignorant to make that statement, but I think you can find guys deeper in the draft that can become game breakers along your offensive line based on strength and conditioning programs and the systems that they're a part of. So if you're deliberating between, say, a Chris Olave and a Penning out of Northern Iowa, you may want to try and err on the side of caution, looking for a skill position player that you think can be harder to try and retain if he breaks out in the first couple of years, and you don't know exactly what you're going to be faced with. But for every success story we see in the first round, sometimes the learning curve can be a little bit steeper. Titans fans know all too well, you guys got one good year out of Corey Davis before he went off to greener pastures, pun intended, to play for the Jets, and you wonder if guys are able to step in when they come from some of those second-tier programs, or if you want to stick with the blue bloods like an Ohio State, like a Drake London, or a guy who I honestly had number one at the wide receiver position before he tore his ACL in Jamison Williams. I think he's the best talent at wideout, and the fact that teams are trying to make a case for some of these other wideouts is a little bit befuddling to me.
Todd, looking at basketball before we head out. Bulls and the Nuggets get ready to pack their bags and go on vacation?
I think the Bulls, this number has gotten out of control, Slay. 10 is where it opened, out to 13. I know the Bulls are basically employed the peanut vendor and Benny the Bull coming off the bench with Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso being ruled out for this contest. But Milwaukee's been here and done that. They made the statement on the road against Chicago, winning those two games in dominant fashion, that they can go through the motions here and still win comfortably by 8 to 10 points. I think the Bulls will empty the tank and have a chance to be competitive. So as the number continues to leak out, I like the dog. No real strong feeling, though, on the Nuggets and Warriors. I think Golden State knows that they have another gear that they could essentially play 6 to 8 minutes of good basketball and find a way to dispatch Denver, kind of like what we saw in Game 4. They just couldn't close down the stretch. I think both these series are over, but I'm not running to the window to try and bet either of these favorites here.
Yep, I'm with you.
Good stuff, Todd. Appreciate it, man, and we'll talk with you next week.
Always a pleasure, guys. And if you do happen to get a little intel on who the Titans are taking, in that top 20, don't hesitate to shoot me a note. I wasn't thrilled last year when they took Caleb Farley on a reach. It cost me one of my draft props, but you know me, I don't hold grudges.
You should have asked me, Todd, because that's who I picked.
Well, I mean, say it's easy 360 days after it's already happened. Who you're telling me they're going to pick? Can you tell me 24 hours before who are the Titans going to pick tomorrow, and we can be back on good terms?
Kenyon Green, take it.
All right, I'll take a look. I'll have to shop around for the over/under on Green. If they fortify that O-line.
All right.
See you, Todd.
Be good, guys.
Hey, man. Preds, man.
Dang, Todd was harsh.
It's so funny how he
Set up your tea time.
Yeah, go get your tea time.
Jeez.
It's so funny. Like he does it at such a high rate of speed that you almost don't catch it.
Yeah, you'll
Right.
miss it. You'll miss it.
Like, wow, he just blasted the entire organization. Tea times.
Ooh-wee. Yes, sir.
Oh, man. All right, 3HL 1045 The Zone. Well, I tell you about my friends at Accurate Mortgage Group. They understand that we have a hyper-competitive housing market and that it is frustrating a lot of people, maybe you, because you keep losing out on offer after offer. Maybe it's time to consider staying put, coming up with a new plan. Here's an idea from our friends at Accurate Mortgage Group. How about renovating your current home into the dream home that you've always wished that it would be? Well, you can do it. Accurate Mortgage has many cash-out refinancing programs that can help you get the money needed to turn your home into that dream home that you've wanted. Home values have gone up, so chances are you've built a good amount of equity into your home. Put that equity to work for you by remodeling and potentially increasing the value of your home even more. Interest rates are still historically low, and if your home's value is increased, it may be the perfect time to take advantage of a cash-out refinance loan. Accurate Mortgage can help make it a brighter spring for you and your family. Reach out to Accurate Mortgage to discuss if a cash-out refi makes sense for you. Visit Accurate Mortgage today at AccurateMTG.com. Accurate Mortgage Group, a division of Ecobia LLC, is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 4664. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Man, Honk.
What? You're the one that says 5 o'clock somewhere.
It is. Happy anniversaries.
Plural.
To the hunksters.
I guess I should celebrate today. Friday I won't be on with you guys. So
To all the little hunksters out there.
Oh, brother.
That's right, brother.
Little hunk brothers and hunkamaniacs, hunk sisters.
It's like Keith Bullock at the golf tournament. Every time we would see Macho Man Titan,
Just
he would go into the Macho Man, but he would also incorporate some Hulk Hogan in there,
had throw a
too.
little brother in there, too.
Bully's funny, man.
Oh, my man.
You guys got to tell us stories, man.
Yeah,
You
we
be
just
behind
sit right
us.
there.
We just hear y'all laughing.
We just stay right there and tell the story.
riding in the cart. Brian, let's check out the Twitter feed real quick. At 3HL 1045.
Lord.
We play Jack Gentry from A to Z Sports said, "How bad do I want Treylon Burks?" And he played this guy that was. He started to call the Hogs, but he did it in it wasn't like Razorback call the Hogs. It was like probably.
Dude, that sounds
I
sounds
can't.
terrible.
Ugh.
That sounds like somebody getting mauled or, you know what I mean, one of them chop houses. I mean, slaughter with them cows and all that like that, man, that ain't,
It's
that's sickening.
no, okay.
All right.
That
I'm
is
done.
a person making that sound.
Yeah,
that
which is
comes
even
from
worse.
within inside somebody.
Which makes it even worse.
I
Like,
love it. I think it's hilarious. You guys
What?
hate it.
yeah, I mean, I can't stand it.
I mean, it makes me like cringe
Yeah.
want to vomit.
Dustin says at 3HL 1045, I'd rather be tied to a chair and listen to the god awful pop country of Florida Georgia Line than ever hear that hog call on my airwaves. Oh man, Vanessa says, "Love you, Mayor, but no, hell no."
no.
I'm telling you.
Junior, as a fellow Razorback fan, y'all got to stop hating on the hog call. I need that guy on the show ASAP.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
Uh-uh.
No, but see, that's like beyond the hog call.
Yeah, it is. That's
Like I know the hog call. Woo,
Suey.
pig, suey.
That's what I said. It's not the Razorback call.
No.
It's that's the real call.
I guess.
Apparently.
You sound like a stuck pig.
That don't need to come outside of Fayetteville.
Oh my gosh.
Keep that right there in that little box.
Gary says, I'm with Yorl. I could listen to that hog calling monstrosity on a loop.
Come on, Gary.
Yeah.
That's some real hillbilly Shiano right there.
It's different for sure.
Let's see. What else do we have? Brian says we would call Chaps cheap-ass polo shirt or couldn't have a polo shirt. Chaps. The guy's wearing a Chap shirt from like back in the day.
You couldn't have one.
With regard to football, Fire Todd Downing says.
There.
Wait, that's his name? That's his Twitter handle?
No, but that's his
That's his Twitter name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's crazy something. I want the Titans to draft offensive line first because I want brutality and stability on the OL. This is for Tanny, Henry, and future quarterback. I want this Titans O-line to have a nickname of Waffle House because the OL is pancaking dudes and King Henry coming through leaving cleat marks. Hashtag tighten up.
You know what, man? Something that has really flown under the radar this offseason. And I thought it would have picked up more steam.
What?
Todd Downing.
That's a good
I
point.
haven't let it flow
No, I
fly under the radar.
No, but Tannehill has taken the brunt.
I mean, all of it. Even when I felt like we were able to, for a week, maybe a couple of days, shift the focus to what we thought the next moment of grief from the season would be for us, and we started going into what we thought about the OC. I don't know if it never caught traction.
It just didn't take.
Yeah, and everything kind of
FTD
reverted back to RT. Like it's like, man, that's interesting to me, man. Like
FTD didn't take Fire Todd Downing. RT did.
it did. Was this pacified and band-aided because of bringing Kelly in?
Maybe. That probably had a little bit to do with it.
So the job that Swartz was able to do last year helped.
I think
in
helped
bringing
take
Kelly
the heat off maybe Downing and what that offense looked
Man,
like,
hey.
and the fact that they played 90 players.
Right.
But I don't think
But
that
still,
you
though.
can overlook it though.
I don't either, Babs.
I went on radio earlier today in Ohio, and they asked what Nashville. What are you laughing at?
This guy said Waffle House ain't got pancakes in all caps.
Oh.
Is that
They
true?
do.
They're
No,
not
they
pancakes at Waffle House?
They ain't got pancakes in
yeah,
no
They
Waffle
don't?
House doesn't have pancakes, but IHOP has waffles
Do they?
And burgers.
and burgers.
I knew they got burgers.
I didn't know that.
I knew
Anyway.
they
Sorry, I
got
completely
And Huddle
derailed
House
that.
has
I just
both.
thought that was funny
I
that
never go to
somebody's
Huddle
going to type that in all caps. Like, did you wake up today thinking, in all caps, I'm going to just be pissed off and type Waffle House ain't got pancakes?
I didn't know they didn't have them.
I knew they didn't.
Well, I always get cheese, eggs, and hash browns. Why would you get pancakes there anyway?
waffle.
But anyway, so they were asking. I was on this radio station in Ohio, and they were asking, what do Titans fans think of Ryan Tannehill? And that's exactly what I said. I said a lot of them are not convinced that he can get it done, and I said, but more of my issue is play calling and the structure of this offense, and that falls on Todd Downing.
Yeah.
Well, now you got a passing
totally
game coordinator. So, to your point, we'll
see how different it looks.
That looks. And you don't go
and
get
you
that
might
guy.
hopefully you have a healthy Derrick Henry
Well, ultimately,
an
you
entire
don't,
year.
you don't go get that guy because everything's great.
Right.
I mean,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
5 o'clock hour coming up. If you want in, 615-737-1045 at 3HL1045 on Twitter. I want to tell you about my friends at Smoky Mountain Tops. They have the most beautiful products out there, and I've done multiple projects with these guys. Absolutely beautiful products, but also just the way they communicate about the job as they're doing it and the time with which they get it done. Phenomenal. Family-owned Smoky Mountain Tops. They've provided Nashville area residents expert advice and superior customer service for more than 20 years. And you can get that from them, too. They guide businesses and residential clients every step of the way, building their dream kitchen, bath, or commercial project. Smoky Mountain Tops craftsmanship can be seen at the Bridgestone Arena, the Lexus Lounge, all Smoky Mountain Tops countertops down there, all over Bridgestone Arena. Other sports landmarks as well. Neyland Stadium is another example. Smoky Mountain Tops specifies that they use the finest and highest quality materials like beautiful and functional Vidara Artisan Quartz countertops, which are not only handcrafted and gorgeous, but are perfect for busy lifestyles and high traffic areas. You need to check them out. Vidara Quartz, durable and stain resistant, and the smooth surface is easily cleaned, leaving no room for germs to hide. Start that dream project today by simply visiting Smoky Mountain Tops online, SmokyMountainTops.com. Again, the website, SmokyMountainTops.com.
Good evening. I am Joe Hunk. We are a little about 25 hours away from the NFL draft starting tomorrow night, and the Titans just announced a little while ago that they have picked up the fifth-year option of Big Jeff and the defensive tackle Jeff Simmons. Now, when it comes to other things going on in the town, well, Nashville Preds, they made the playoffs. That's good. UC Saros is out for the next 2 games. That's bad. He's got a lower back injury, and so what is happening, actually, correction, a lower body injury is what the team is saying. The team has brought up Connor Ingram from Milwaukee, who currently leads the AHL in games played, minutes played, saves, and is tied for first in shutouts. But who will the Preds be playing? We may have a better picture after tonight because they are currently tied with the Dallas Stars for the top spots in the wild card portion of the Western Conference with 95 points. Stars, they are hosting the Coyotes tonight in Dallas. Now, the Vols have a basketball player going into the NBA draft, but he's not signing with an agent. That's Josiah Jordan-James. Last year, he started 30 games for the Vols, averaging a little over 10 points. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Brent Doherty with you. There she is. She's Dawn Davenport.
Hey, happy day before draft day. Draft eve.
Dawn says if Logan Woodside was in this draft, he would go number 1 overall.
Okay, that's just ridiculous. Come on now. I could be the president of his fan club as a backup quarterback for the Titans as opposed to a 6th-round draft a quarterback to try and replace him.
I feel it.
Any movement on him coming on the show?
Well, I just need to text him.
You just gotta get. She just got to get in touch
I
with
just
the
haven't
reps.
done it yet. I'm waiting till after the draft.
Yeah.
I figure we're a little busy here this week and probably next, so we'll do it next week, midweek.
Logan Miles Woodside.
LM Dub.
Born January 27th, 1995.
God, we're old.
That one makes me feel old.
He's from
95.
Frankfort, Kentucky.
Yeah,
90s,
right down the road.
Yeah.
Franklin County High School, and played his college football at the Fighting Brett Kearns University of Toledo.
Toledo.
The Toledos.
I don't know why we went down that path, but
Yeah,
we
what
did.
did Brett Kearns say? There's 4 Toledo Rockets
Yeah.
on this Titan squad.
More than the little Alabama team, he said.
I
I
couldn't.
don't think he said little
Oh,
Alabama.
okay.
I think
I'm
you
about
might
to
have thrown that in there.
Yeah.
He is Ron Slay, though.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
Hey, Slate.
Yeah.
You're taking complete control over it. Just complete ownership over
I
this
am,
thing
man.
today.
I am in the building, and the building I am.
Way to go, Dr. Seuss.
His shirt says I'm in the building.
Oh,
too,
yeah,
with
so,
the
yeah.
Batman
That's
building
right.
on it.
Oh, the Batman. You're hiding behind the Batman building.
But you can see the headman poking out. Just trying to see, is anybody else in the building?
That's a great shirt.
By the way, tomorrow we will be in Murfreesboro.
Yes.
Look out, Burrow. We're coming at you.
Man, get there.
3 to 6 p.m. at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Come hang with us.
Jeffrey Simmons signed or autographed jersey. You can sign up there to win that. I think we're giving away, I think there's some kind of Titans tickets given away.
Give it away, give it away, give it away.
It's,
now.
what is it, 225 Miller pitchers or something, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
I guess
Lemon
I should,
pepper wings.
I should probably double check and make sure that's accurate, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Chipotle barbecue rub.
You know what I got to tell them to do?
Flats only.
For Euro.
Yes.
Yours.
You get mad at me that I do that.
No, I want them to go and get mine out. Just bring me anything that's a wing. But don't forget to wash away toast too, y'all.
Yes.
Resetting.
What are you going to wash away? Do you already have it planned out?
Yeah, the whole season.
Oh, you're just going to wash away
All
the
of
whole
that,
season.
man. Yeah, it's
done.
time to turn the page, man. Like the draft starts a new day. You know, all this stuff will be behind us. Now we'll start talking about what's happening in the preseason, how they're getting ready for the season, and stop reflecting on what happened last season, which we had to do. I mean, but now it's over. This draft right here.
Yep.
starts a new day. I wanted to say commence. It's the commencement of the new
fancy.
day. Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's true, too.
Although we still have to talk about what they can do different offensively.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
last year,
But
yes,
that's leading to
this year.
this year. Yeah, we are no longer like at some point you got to be like, all right, man, it's in the rear view. Like we pulled off from it. We're 10 miles down the road. Nobody's going back. But we can also let you out of the car and let you turn around and walk the other way.
Yeah, but tomorrow we'll let you hang out inside Buffalo Wild Wings. And, you can drink beer, eat wings, and talk about who the Titans should take and who would make you mad if they took them and can they trade back.
Yeah, see, now, guess what? Now you can get mad at John Robinson.
What if they traded up and took a quarterback?
Ooh.
Could you, what are the most unexpected things that the Titans could do tomorrow?
Give up the first and the third to go get Kenny Pickett. Woo! You talking about set this thing on fire, boy. Woo! Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would be.
Yeah, I'm a woo guy.
That would make all the woo girls woo. Will Bowling coming up live from Vegas at 5:20. Thanks to Farm Bureau Health Plans. Will had an interesting travel day, but I guess he's there. I haven't heard otherwise.
He and I just talked a few seconds ago. He is there and getting set up.
Right, so he'll have content for the radio station moving forward. We're looking forward to the NFL draft tomorrow, and again, in advance of the NFL draft, we will be celebrating at Buffalo Wild Wings. You mentioned Jeffrey Simmons and the autographed jersey. The Titans announced that they have picked up Jeffrey Simmons' fifth-year option, so that story is the big story right now out there. Jeffrey Simmons last year, career high 8.5 sacks. He had 5 total sacks in his career coming into last season, 8.5 sacks, 54 tackles, also a career high, 42 solo tackles, a career high. I mean, all of this. Tackles for a loss, 12, career high, 16 quarterback hits, career high. My man is destructive. And here's what the Titans are going to pay him in 2023 in that fifth-year option year, $10.7 million. He's probably worth 25?
Yeah. Sell him.
Right?
Sell
by
him.
23?
I say 27. Anywhere between 27 and 22.
Right
I think
now.
he's safe. Yeah, this year. We don't know what he's going to do. It might get ugly. You might have to go get that. You might have to go get the hammer and crack the piggy bank if we allow him to go this year, which we're about to do.
We solved the problem earlier. It's the Woo Girl tax. And whenever you need money.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
You need money for Big Jeff? Woo Girl tax.
Woo!
Yeah.
1%.
Man.
1% gets you $20 million if the city continues on its tourism pace.
Another year this year, like last year for him, and the defense do the same thing. What happens? What happens with that pay scale?
Well, and that's the thing, and you guys keep talking about it. Like you bring in a passing game coordinator. What is the offense going to look like? Can the offense hold up its end of the bargain? Because at some point, like these are the same dudes out there on defense. At some point, they're going to get frustrated if you don't hold up your end.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's a real thing.
It is.
They're not going to tell you that, but
it is. It is.
So, my personal opinion is Ryan Tannehill plays better next year. And he didn't – I mean, his numbers were okay. And what is he, 30-13, something like that in the regular season?
Record fine in the regular season.
I mean, the problem is the postseason. That's
the postseason,
that's people's issues.
Yeah,
and the consistency because
the critical mistakes.
Yep.
Even in the regular season, he would throw up games where you were throwing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you always get to come back and change it the next week.
Right. And I just think that this dude's a really competitive guy. He's heard all the chatter, even though he's not been here. I mean, you're going to hear the chatter.
Yeah, you got to.
And that's going to drive you, right?
Yep. So that's why this draft, I feel, is so geared toward offensive weapons. And those weapons being in the trenches, too. That's a weapon.
Yeah, and I heard Blaine the other day say, I don't think you're going to see Ryan Tannehill until after the draft because he wants to see what they do. Like, he wants to – are you going to take a quarterback in that first round?
Do you really think that?
Yeah.
Because that's concerning.
If true.
Yeah.
If that's the only reason that we haven't heard from him,
Right.
yeah, I agree with you on that.
I don't think it's the only reason, but I think he might have reached a point where he was like, well, let me just hang out over here and see what they do.
So I know we got Will coming up, but here's just an insight into veteran quarterbacks a little bit. Tom Brady in Tampa basically told his whole team last year, the veteran guys don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
We don't show up till July. Now, when you get there, from July to February, football is life.
Yeah.
You are 180 million% all in. There's nothing else exists. But until July, don't show up. And once July hits, it's on.
Yep.
And that's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his take on it. So everybody making such a big deal about Ryan Tannehill not being here. I mean, that's also Tom Brady with a new team. I mean, that was when he first got there.
There are a lot of veterans that think like that.
There are
for
a
sure.
lot of vets that think that way. Now, here's the other thing. They are doing stuff on their own, or they're throwing with
Right.
certain guys, or they're working outside of the facility, but it's on their time
Yeah.
stamp.
I'm sure he is. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
I think he is working. After a season like that, you ain't got no choice to work.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
no choice.
Well, especially when you know your window's closing.
Yeah. And you're tested. Deborah says, don't know how beat up Tannehill was by the playoffs. Some weeks he was just beaten into the ground. And that's what I kept saying is mentally he was beaten up.
Would you say he had the yips?
He had the yips. He was seeing ghosts. And, I mean, there's a good reason for it because there were dudes running free clocking him. You just don't know when that's going to happen.
Yep.
And it happened often. 615-737-1045, always the number. We're going to talk with Will Bowling live from Vegas at the NFL Draft on the front end of the next segment. After that, we do have time to take your phone calls. The NFL Draft one day away. We'll be right back. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Buddy Allen Carpet One, you're thinking about that flooring project. These are your guys, locally owned and operated by the Allen family for more than 55 years. Zach, Jen, and Judson Allen are in the store every day. Buddy Allen Carpet One. These guys are awesome people, and they'll be there from the design of what you're doing through the installation of what you get done. 2405 at Lebanon Pike and Donaldson, 615-883-3289, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay, and Will Bowling checking in from Las Vegas. Will, what's up? How are you?
How's it going? Great to hear from you guys. I'm here. I am in the building. I am in the Strip. Having a good time. How are you guys?
William Lee.
I told them, Will, that you had some travel difficulties today.
Oh, it has been a lot. Woke up around 3-ish to get out here and was hoping to have people I could have actually talked to today other than the people of on the aisle seat and in the window of saying, hey, can I get between you guys? That was about the only people I've talked to today. But was hoping to have, some interviews with players and media types and whatnot. But unfortunately, our airline had other plans.
Did you forget to check in? Is that why you had a middle seat?
Yeah, get them, Babsy.
No. This is not no. So basically, I got delayed by an hour leaving Nashville. So then at that point, my flight in San Diego, where I had to connect, was landing 2 minutes before the connecting flight to Vegas was going to take off. And so before we even landed, the flight attendant was like, hey, they've already rebooked you guys that are going to Vegas. And I was like C-47. I was like, oh,
no.
I felt like I had been Ron Slay and not checked in.
No, Ron Slay would have made it.
Slay's been higher than C-47.
Yeah, listen, this is the thing you got to understand. Either I'm going to make it, or you ain't delaying me. I just ain't going. I'm cool with just not going. I'll turn around. I'm going back to the party.
In San Diego
there you go.
Yeah. Run it back the next day.
Yeah, that ain't my fault.
Okay. Good to know.
Somebody got to do it.
You need a T-shirt that says that. Ain't my fault.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask Will real quick. Will, where are you, Will? Because you had a beautiful background of Vegas.
I do.
Where are you?
So I am on the Strip. I'm right in the middle of everything. Okay. Behind me here, you have the fountains of the Bellagio, the water kind of stage. They've got the red carpet stage, which is on the water over here on the Strip by the Bellagio, and then you have behind the Ferris wheel the Draft Theater, where everything else is and where media will be. It's where I will be tomorrow night during our round one coverage on the Zone social channels. But just kind of taking a look around. I'll have some more videos coming out tonight and just kind of giving people the first look at what it's like to be here, because the draft isn't on Broadway, the draft isn't in Nashville, but we want the people to feel like they're there and feel like they're on a different kind of Strip that obviously we feel is inferior and much warmer, but we'll still have a good time out here for sure.
Very descriptive. At Will_bowling with 1 L. You can follow him and check out everything there. Here's the thing. Like, the over-under number of quarterbacks that will be taken in the first round is 3.5. I want the over-under number of draft picks that will be arrested in Vegas.
I'll tell you what. The first thing that I thought, Brent, was how odd the Calvin Ridley suspension feels when you have draft picks that are literally feet away from casinos and from people just handing you pamphlets. Like, you walk out of a Walgreens or something. It's just, hey, you want to bet? No, I just wanted toothpaste. I left toothpaste at home. Do you have any toothpaste? That's really all I'm here for.
There we go.
So, that's our Will Bowling.
Those aren't the only pamphlets they're handing you either. There's other stuff on some of those pamphlets.
But you're right. No, it's something weird will happen. I feel like every time the NFL does something official in Las Vegas, something awful happens. So fingers crossed. So I'll knock on wood that doesn't happen.
So it's funny because if you go to LA and there's a major sporting event, you literally can roll around LA and not even know that the major sporting event is happening. How is that seen in Vegas? Have they built this thing up to where you can tell? Because Vegas is such a monstrosity anyway, in terms of what's going on. But I'm just curious, how blown up is this event there?
I can definitely. I've probably seen 6 or 7 fan bases represented, and I've been here for an hour. And just on the flight, I was coming from San Diego, and there was a guy in front of me that still had the Chargers lightning bolt tattooed to the side of his head, and then the San Diego Padres logo on the back of his head, and he had a daughter with him. That guy reproduced. He has a family. So if he's listening, congratulations on your life. But so he's here. But no, I've seen Minnesota fans. I saw a couple of Jacksonville fans taking pictures in front of the Ferris wheel, and this is the highlight of their trip before tomorrow. They, once again find a way to screw up a first-round draft pick. But I think definitely more so than the Super Bowl and more so than the LA experience. Like, you can tell the NFL is here and the NFL is kind of taken over. I didn't get that vibe as much just around downtown Los Angeles, and we were there for that. Also, just because there are two teams playing at that point, and the local team doesn't really even have fans where they are. So, probably not the best example, but I think the NFL has definitely taken over, and there are a ton of people just lining up to take pictures and look at the Bellagio setup and the red carpet. It's pretty sweet.
So from a media perspective, are you seeing a lot of media people rolling around at this point? I know you just got there, but
it kind of feels like when you walk around downtown Nashville, though, and like there's always something going on in the Music City Center, and like there's 5 different types of lanyards walking around Broadway. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. Like, I feel like there's probably like a tractor convention going on, because that's just what I'm used to, like, right in Nashville. Like, I've seen a lot of different types of lanyards. I'm not yet sure to how to track down who is who, but I mean, I've only been here for like an hour and a half, thanks to the good folks flying me through the air. So, more on that coming up tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, Will Bowling, his reports from Las Vegas, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Need great health care coverage at an affordable price. Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans for 75 years. It's going to be quite a scene. So, what kind of access will you have to the draft?
So I will be around the stage where the draft picks are made. So all the players that'll be here being picked, a couple of them of particular interest to the Titans, specifically Zion Johnson, of course, the guard from Boston College, who is here, who will be on the red carpet in the gallery. If he's the pick, we'll get to talk to him pretty immediately here. And those of us that have made the trip out here, I know Jim Wyatt's hanging out. I've seen all his coverage on the socials today as well. So we'll be able to kind of talk with those players. I'll kind of have the scene from the stage tomorrow night during round 1 coverage and what that all entails. I'm supposed to get a look tonight at a preview of what the drones are going to look like. Apparently this is a thing, that there is like a lights show made by drones.
Yes. This is a new thing.
The draft theater. Yes. So
I say
we're going to get a look at that. Right.
They did it like Olympics opening ceremonies and all that stuff. It's, it's not new, but so you're going to get a look at it.
Yes. We'll get a look at that tonight. I think about 7 Pacific is when we'll do that. My time zones are so messed up. I've got to recalibrate when that actually is. I thought this was mountain time all week until I was like boarding the plane. I was like, I'm in Pacific.
Oh, Will.
Perfect. No, not all week.
What are we going to do with you?
The other day. I don't know. Send me to Vegas. That's what you're going to do with me.
Will you step foot in the casino?
Yeah, I mean, in order to like go to the bathroom anywhere, you have to go through a casino to get there. Like, I mean, literally to go to like restaurants that are in Nashville. Like, there was like a Johnny Rockets over there, and it's like, oh yeah, come through our casino before you get like a John. Like, I just wanted a Johnny Rockets. Like, I'm kidding, but I don't know.
Let me rephrase that. Will you pull or push a slot machine button or sit at a table while you're in Vegas?
I think there's so I've checked out the sports books that are around me, and that's probably more likely for me tonight.
Okay,
is find a sports book, find a bar where I can put down a parlay on the Braves game, or just like pick a game, pick a game to be invested in that I would not have normally been invested in, and maybe put that like I've
go find you a FanDuel
like,
sports book somewhere.
You can lose your money a lot slower in a sports book.
Right. Right. I want to put a couple like future bets out there. Like, I want to like Nashville SC to win Major League Soccer, like stuff like that. Like, hometown stuff. Like, I want future bets of like $1 of some sort. I don't know, but I'm going to try to find a sports book tonight.
Will Bowling hits Vegas. How did we not send a film crew with him? I mean, this is unreal to me. I don't understand.
The problem is I am the film crew and I control any and all content that gets out of this place, which is in my best interest.
Slade, do you have any advice for young Will?
Yeah, man. Vegas? We'll get fried, man. What time the draft tomorrow? The draft ain't till 8 Eastern. So you got plenty of time, man.
I think the exact time. So last year, the Titans picked 22, and they drafted Caleb Farley, and I believe that was at 10:33 Central Time, p.m. I mean, that's, now that I know what time zone I'm in, that's 8:30 here. The night is young at that point in Las Vegas, Nevada. So, who's to say? Who's to say what happens out here in Sin City?
Well, you need me to hit C.J. Watson up, man, and tell him, man, take care of my man Will out there, man.
We need Will in a champagne room or something.
I probably, like, in my parents' house still have, like, my number 32 orange C.J. Watson jersey with, like, the old colonial font and, like, the Tennessee arched on the top. Like, yeah, it's a good conversation starter.
I just want hangover.
You're one of my heroes when I was growing up in college basketball. What's going on?
I just want Hangover 4 to happen. That's what I want to happen.
What does Will dream of when he takes a little tiger snooze? I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow on 104.5 The Zone.
All right, Will. Well, hey, we appreciate the report. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Have fun and don't do anything that Slay would do.
Sounds good. Yeah, Slay, you just text me.
Car ain't got no roof. That ought to be your theme song out there, Will. There's going to be some great things that follow behind that. I promise.
I'm on the same floor as the pool, so if you need me, don't need me. Yeah.
Well, you really in paradise right now. I just want you to know that.
You're in a good spot,
man.
dude.
What?
I will live my best life, and I will live your best life as well.
He's
my
by himself in Vegas. Like, no family,
Dude.
no coworkers, no friends, no nothing.
See, that's the difference. I don't give a damn if I'm with family.
Well,
Family's just going to have to deal with Slay.
we're just talking about Will Bolton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Good to talk to you guys. I will check in tomorrow.
Thanks, Will. All right, at Will_bowling for all of the adventures.
You
I
know,
want his Twitter feed to look like the photo roll at the end of Hangover.
man, you know what? I was just about to show y'all. I was going through my roll the other day from Vegas, and I'm going to show y'all what I was doing at 7:30.
I've never seen that roll.
No, you haven't. Because I was, don't you know? See, this is
You were on a roll. You were in Vegas for several days before you even booked the trip back.
I was on a roll.
We're like, when you coming back, Slay? I don't know.
Y'all need me? No. Y'all gonna stay. I was like, all right, we're cool.
That's literally the only vacation you've taken since you've worked there.
It is. You're right.
It's the only days off you've had.
This is right. Hey, I'm gonna show you though, boy. Woo. Oh yeah, that was fun right there, man.
Oh man,
William Lee. You should have a good time out there, man.
I keep coming back to I always think about the unusual, right? Like that's why I want Will to have just an unbelievable time because he's not that guy,
right?
You know, but the most unusual thing that the Titans could do in the draft is trade up and take a damn quarterback.
Man, listen,
I really think that I would laugh. Like I would laugh hysterically if that happened.
They would lose grasp on everything that they have: momentum, fan base, like. Everything.
Not if it works.
That they're going to have of Nashville whenever that pick is made. You know, they always show the fans and the reaction that the fans like, huh?
Oh my gosh, the fan reaction. Like if there was a pocket of Titans fans in the building.
Oh, I'll go find them.
With pick number 20, Pittsburgh has traded the pick to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have selected Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Pickett.
Now, if they were to do that to trade for somebody, I mean, to draft for somebody at 26.
It'd be very Green Bay Packers-ish.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
okay. Well,
although you don't have Aaron Rodgers on the roster.
Yeah. Nope. Basil, who you think? Who you think? What do you think we're going to be close?
I think, in our mock draft with Jimmy Wyatt.
But guess what? Don't tell it. Don't tell it yet.
Okay, well, we picked the same
Who do you
person.
want? Who do you want?
I think we've already told him.
I think we have already told him.
No, but listen, mine changes. Because remember, 2 weeks ago, I was all in on Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks.
I've never been all in on him.
I have.
I'd be fine with
I was rolling
that
with that
pick, but I've never been all in with him.
And then Albert Breer's mock draft in the Monday Morning Quarterback had him on the table still.
On the board.
On the table.
Get off this table. Get on the board, boy.
On the board.
On
when
the
the Titans
board.
pick 26.
Put it on the board.
Yeah.
That's the one, I think the biggest fan reaction would come if he was on the board and they didn't take him.
And they didn't take him.
Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
So I agree. But then a week ago, I was cool with trading that pick.
Well, see, I would be okay with John Robinson trading out of that pick and getting a second-round pick. But I just don't think that there's anybody that's feasible to do that with.
Yep.
This is Babs saying there's no one dumb enough to trade up.
I mean, I didn't say it in those words.
That's what you meant.
I don't think he's.
I speak Babs.
Yes. I don't think he's going to be able to find anybody to do that.
Yeah.
Sitting at 26,
right?
Because we talk about kind of the meat of the draft, and that's where I think the wins are in this draft, especially. But at 26, I think you absolutely 100% address the offensive line with somebody that can step in and play now.
Kenyon Green can play now.
That's exactly where I am.
That's
now.
where
Zion Johnson can probably play now.
I would love both of those picks.
Yes.
I would not love a Tyler Smith Tulsa pick.
Every time
You
people
wouldn't love it, but you'll accept it.
Every
You might not even
time
accept
somebody says Tyler Smith to the Titans, I think, man, we're going to get a power forward from
Yeah.
You think Tyler
Pulaski?
Smith basketball? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do too. I think the same way.
I just
Trevor
worry.
Penning, offensive tackle, could probably go ahead and start. Rookie right tackle. Move Radens to left guard.
Okay.
So on best available.
I worry about stepping into the league, not playing in the SEC or not playing in the ACC. Do you know what I mean?
I
At
think
a
that's
smaller
fair.
program on the line. I don't worry about it as a skill position as much.
Yep.
I worry about it when you're talking about the trenches.
Northern
Because-
Iowa is where he's from. Yeah.
Yeah, but and that's fine. But I'm talking about Tyler Smith from Tulsa.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and Dylan Radens is a perfect example, right? He
Yep.
was not ready to step in and play
He played
immediately.
one game in the last 2 years because of the COVID stuff.
Right. And he wasn't.
Not him personally, but his team didn't.
His team,
His team
yeah.
played one game.
Yeah. So I am concerned. And I have seen the difference in how noticeable it is in the trenches when you're talking about SEC versus other leagues.
Right.
So I worry about the transition from a smaller school when you're talking about linemen into the NFL.
Right.
615-737-1045 at 3HL1045. There was a debate on our text screen last night, and I was all excited until Slay got involved, and then I was like, man, what a downer.
Wet blanket.
I'll explain when we come back. Also, you'll hear from John Morant. Next, 3HL1045 The Zone. Is this another Hunk anniversary song?
Actually, yes. Yes, it is. As a matter of fact. This is a song she always sings to our son every night before he goes to sleep.
Hunk celebrating dating anniversary and wedding anniversary, all wrapped into one.
The dating one is dumb.
That was
I
so
hope she's
dumb.
not listening.
That wasn't dumb. You ain't gonna get me in trouble.
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah. Team Tory right here.
You better know it.
Everybody on her side. I understand.
Indeed.
So here's what the Grizzlies do against Minnesota. They fall behind, and then they either come back and win or they don't. And they've done it 3 times. They lead
Well, what
the
are
series
the
3-2.
other options?
Well, I
Come
mean-
back and win or don't.
Well, I mean, you don't have to fall behind.
Okay.
That's what Brandon Clark said after the game. But by the way, I kept thinking of Slay Dog while I was watching Brandon Clark just in there dominating. Nothing went through him at all, and he still got his.
Yes, at all. And I mean, he went and got it off the backboard. Just put it up there on the rim, and I'm going to get it.
You can either let life happen to you, or you can happen to life.
Yep.
And he did the latter.
And you better watch it for games like that. When games like that happen, I wouldn't be surprised if next year he was up there with leading the league in rebounding. Because all it takes is to find that knack and like, man, I can do this on this level. And you look up, he averages 15, 16 rebounds a game, man.
My 15-year-old, who's a huge Grizz fan, he said that Brandon Clark has some of the shortest arms in the league.
Man, got some of the highest vert.
Right, and he said that despite my short arms, he said he's up there in terms of block shots because he said you just got to know when to time your jump.
You do. And you just got to outwork. Like a lot of people get so lazy, especially in the NBA, about turning and looking and finding somebody to box. They automatically watch the shot and chase the ball.
And don't know where the people are.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's what Rodman was so good at.
Yep.
He just had this innate ability. He would scan the floor as the shot went up.
Mm-hmm. You got to be able to do it, man. That's cold-blooded. That's a skill in itself.
So the Grizz in itself.
Skill set in itself. Yeah.
There you go. 111-109, Ja Morant, the game winner with 1 second left, and Minnesota didn't have any timeouts to move the ball up the floor, so they were just stuck with a 70-footer by Karl Anthony Towns, who had been talking smack the entire game. But I'll tell you this, when Jaren Jackson went out of the game and they had to change the matchup and put Dylan Brooks on him, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
He got one basket after that, and it was because of rotational screens.
And guess what, man? If you pay attention to the Grizzlies, he was becoming the number 2 guy before he got hurt. When he got hurt, that's when Bane emerged to what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said when he came back, man, that's the X factor right there because he plays on both ends. And Bane did a terrific job on D'Angelo Russell as well. But, man, Brooks is that guy, man. He can guard a point guard all the way down to a soft 5 guy.
Ja Morant had a dunk in this game that people are debating on where it is in NBA playoff history. Like, I'm not going to go there because of recency bias, but, I mean, he threw it down.
It's up there.
And had Stacey Augmon not been called Plastic Man back in the day, you could call Ja Morant Plastic Man because of the way that he can extend his arm and keep control of it, right, left hand. And he tries to throw down ridiculous dunks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. This one hit. Here's the call last night, which is phenomenal.
Morant downhill into the lane. He hangs it. Oh, my goodness. He jumps right over Malik Beasley with a right-handed hammer. Oh, Lord. That was phenomenal. Morant with the highlight reel dunk that may just bring this team back.
I actually thought that was the Kevin Harlan call who called it a jawbreaker, which was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
In the moment.
You have that one?
That was spot on right there.
Sorry, Harlan.
Yeah, that one.
Did you just hear her go,
Sorry, Hunk.
She did. That was very judgmental right there.
It was. It was like super passive aggressive, which I hate.
Here's what Ja Morant did say about that dunk, which ignited the team.
Definitely, ignited the crowd, gave us some energy. And, from then on, I was pretty much just being very aggressive. I'm not going to speak on what else sparked me.
What?
Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly and what's the name? Big Cat talking.
Well, and Pat Beverly hit like this little, I don't even know what, in the lane where he double pumped and he got it up over.
Shot.
He got it up over Ja, and so he held his hand down low. And so you knew Ja was going to come back and do the same thing, and he did. And then Ja held his hand down low, and then Pat Beverly, a couple plays later, fouls out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what Ja had to say about that.
Pat Bev did the too small thing late in the game. Did you notice that? And does that.
You see what I did the next play?
Yeah. I think you had like 13 after that. Is that no coincidence?
It doesn't bother me, bro.
Yeah.
If we have what we want, pretty much, obviously you got to be better on ball. But, after that, I came back, did the same thing after my bucket. So it's nothing with us that people trying to make it like a matchup. It's not that.
Mm-hmm. What he's saying is, Pat, please stop even making this a matchup. That guy is not on my level. Great defender and who he is, and a great player because he's in the NBA. But dude can't play with me, man.
I'm glad you said
that. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, quit mentioning him in the same breath as me. This is not a competition.
Because it sounds like you're translating it. Otherwise, I'd just be like, oh, he's like, nah, whatever. It's not a big deal that he's talking
It is
smack
funny
and calling me small, whatever.
It's funny the impact that Pat Beverly can have on a game and not be that skilled of a player.
That's what you got to do. You got to find a niche, and the defense is it for him.
So when Ja Morant made that dunk toward the end of the third quarter, Memphis outscored Minnesota 39-24 the rest of the way.
Wow.
And you kind of knew it in the moment. Like, you knew, like, oh, here we go.
You feel it shifting.
And Chris Vernon, who covers them, I saw him tweet, like, that dunk just woke up 18,000 plus, and including the team. Ja Morant talking about playing from behind, though.
I mean, it feels good when you win. But me personally, I'm tired of it. Tired of playing from behind. Game 2, you see what happened, when we come out and, play from the jump. So we just got to have that mindset we had going into game 2, into, game 6, and, not give them too much life. Go ahead and, come out and play hard, play with energy, and, start early pretty much.
Does playoff experience increase the speed of the leadership abilities in some guys? Because you're starting to hear that from him now.
Yeah, you are.
You know what I mean?
And I think you see it when the score in the games with the score. And what he's saying is, dude, you cannot play like this every single game like it is another game. This is not just another game. Like, how the coaches try to get in the media, hey, man, this is another game. We got to go ahead. No, it's not. No, it ain't. You ramping it all the way up.
Tennessee,
for this.
Florida is the same as Tennessee.
No. You going all the way in on this, dog. And that's what he's saying, man. Like, I realize, everybody else got to realize, man, we got to go get this game. It is no other games that matter. We got to win this game right here with everything we got. It's not, there is no tomorrow. Just because it's a series doesn't mean when you go up 3-2, hey, man, we got something. No, man, you got to win this game because one win can swing that entire series, and you can never get that momentum back.
It's funny, too.
They're really lucky.
Down the stretch, Minnesota got the ball. They called timeout, down 3.
Mm-hmm.
They advanced the ball to half court. There was 8 seconds left. And the discussion in our room was, even if they hit the 3 here, you've got plenty of time.
Yep.
To advance the ball and then come up with a shot. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what they did with Ja. It was obvious they're getting the ball to him. He's going into the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Either he's going to the rim, he's going to find an open Bain or somebody to spot up and shoot.
Yeah.
He talked about that last play, Ja Morant.
Can you take us through the last play?
Go get a bucket, Ja.
It's so good.
That's simple. That's simple.
Just drop it.
Yeah.
I mean...
Listen to the Grizzlies players after that game. It feels like this is a team that's going to go close it out in Game 6.
Yeah, you got to, man. And that's why you see guys that are going off when they come to huddles, these more experienced teams. When they get to the huddle, like Draymond Green and guys like that, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler and them in Miami, when they go to the huddle and everybody's focus is not little conversations going on around the huddle. Everybody hollering at each other and it's serious. They understand because they've been to that point. Memphis has been to that point now. Hopefully it'll grow, but we said in Game 3, once they got that lead and they were able to come back, Memphis kind of feels like, you know what, man, we can beat this team anytime we want to when we turn the switch on. Next round, when you got to go play against Golden State, they know it ain't no switch you can turn on.
With Ja, you heard, like, the pissed off part of being down. Like, that makes them mad that they get down. Brandon Clark said the same thing after the game.
So now it's about going out there and doing it.
Natural Predators clinch backdoor.
Backdoor, Lil Joe.
.1.
I mean,
.1 on the clock.
Backdoor.
Oh,
put that thing in OT.
That was crazy.
But they get Dallas to win in the shootout. The big news is what's up with Hughes. They called up goaltender from Milwaukee. So Juice will not play the last 2 regular season games. We'll see what happens with the playoffs. They need him, no doubt about that.
Let's get some momentum Prayers going into this playoffs, please.
I mean, Todd Fuhrman said if UC Saros doesn't play in the playoffs, go ahead and book those tee times.
Shoot.
Some may be saying it even if he does play.
Not us, Hunt.
Now, if Juice played, it's time to battle. If Juice ain't playing,
Listen to you.
it's going to get rough out
You
there.
and Carl Anthony Towns can go do your talking somewhere else. All right, coming up next, 3HL After Party. And again, tomorrow we're in the borough, so make sure you're out there. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Come
Let's
hang with us.
have some fun.
See us.
Talking about the NFL draft all day tomorrow. Later.
See ya.